It... What? What? It does... Why can't I control the volume? Wait, hang on. I can't control the volume for some reason. Why is it so loud? I swear to God, I got everything. Hold on. Just kidding. Wait. Wait, now it won't stop. Oh, there it goes. Hang on. Okay. Take 2. Hey! All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the show. It's Friday. And I'm going to open my window and make a lot of noise like I usually do. I never freaking do it before I turn my microphone on. Hi. Welcome to the end of your week, I hope. Welcome to the weekend. Welcome to payday, hopefully. If not, that's okay. If it's a Tuesday for you and you're going back into it tomorrow, I hope tonight can be a wonderful little reprieve, an oasis, if you will, in the middle of a long week before you get back into it tomorrow. You'll come back even stronger on the other side and you'll kick so much ass tomorrow. But if it is the end of your week, welcome to it. You deserve a break and hopefully I can give that to you tonight. Thank you so much for coming to the show. Thank you. Hello, everybody. So we have a lot of ground to cover tonight, and so I'm not going to do too much of it just chatting, although I have a little bit, just so you know, I have a little bit of leftover ramen as I tap my bowl for effect. Can you hear that, chat? That's the sound of ramen. I know it sounds like metal banging on porcelain, but it's ramen. That's the ramen sound. Here, chat, ramen time, chat. So we are going to be going through Ace Attorney. This has been a long time coming. We started this case in October, apparently, and continued it at the end of November, and lost a lot of time to good reasons to Cobblemon, the Cobblemon server with a whole bunch of my streamer friends. That was wonderful. Then we lost time to my writing schedule. Then we lost time to the holidays. And now it's January. And back in November, I really wanted to try to finish Turnabout Serenade because it's one of the most tedious cases. I'm really selling. This is a hard sell for tonight's show. Hey guys, come to the show tonight. It sucks. No, I kid. No. But I really wanted to finish it last time, back in November. And I remember like a couple of things happened. It was a late start. We started around 9:30, if I remember correctly. And I really wanted to keep going. But then we lost about an hour and a half to this stupid brooch and this puzzle. I don't even remember the specifics of it. Did I have to present the brooch? It was that we had this one particular puzzle in the middle of cross-examination that for the life of me, I could not figure out. I had like 10, I could work down my tier list of like 10 different rational reasons I could present different pieces of evidence, and every single one of them was wrong. And then the one that you had to submit made no fucking sense to me. And so we lost like an hour and a half to that stupid puzzle. And next thing you know, it was like 3 a.m. And I finally, reluctantly, right before the final cross-examination, had to call it. So we have a sliver of our last case left. And then we're going to be starting the finale of Apollo Justice. So we're finishing Turnabout Serenade after a short recap. And then we are going to be diving into Turnabout Succession and hopefully getting to the first checkpoint in it before it gets too late. You have a 10-hour shift tomorrow? Jeez, Maya. Oh, no, I'm so sorry. Hope if you got to go and get a whole lot of good night's rest at some point, please do. Please feel empowered to get out of here. No watch party like last time. Watch party? We've never watch partied Ace Attorney. We perform this shit. Unless you're talking about something else. So a couple of ground rules. If you've never been here before, welcome to the Friday show. Friday is Ace Attorney night. Typically, it's been a while, but we typically do Ace Attorney on Fridays. It's my opportunity to blend my two worlds, and we can play a game together, and I can have an opportunity to perform for you guys. Because, as you all know, I'm a professional voice actor as well, and so being able to marry my two passions in one awesome stream is really cool. And if we ever run out of Ace Attorney games, we'll find something else to play that is an RPG or something that's narrative that doesn't have voiceover, because I like finding opportunities to voice act for you guys. So this is every Friday. Welcome to it. A couple of things to know. This is a bit of a light performance stream, so I don't always see every message that hits chat. I'm usually focused on the game, but we take lots of opportunities to kind of giggle and shit talk together. I'm just sometimes locked in when we're in the middle of a story beat, so just be prepared. I might not always catch every message. A couple of other things. Because this is a very a somewhat vocally demanding exercise. Not most of the time actors don't go into the studio and record for like 7 hours straight, playing every single character. We take a lot of breaks. I'm not going to say, it's not like enormous, but we're very proactive about taking 3-minute breaks on this stream, particularly this Friday stream. So my promise to you guys, if you're not one of my subbies, hey, consider supporting the channel and supporting what I do here with a sub. But especially on Fridays, I will make sure you never miss anything. So if you have to go through the ads, I'm sorry that we have to deal with that on the channel. But I will make sure you don't miss a thing. If we hit a break, I'm always getting up and stretching my legs or using the restroom or refilling my water. If for some reason we're in the middle of a story, Misfit starts spamming that ad button. We have an emote for it. Can I get it in chat? Can I get it in chat as an example? If I fuck up and we're in the middle of a story and an ad hits, spam this emote. Someone, show me what it is. Spam the hell out of not that one. What the fuck? No, that one. Yes, that one. Thank you. Spam that ad emote and let me know I fucked up. I will stop everything I'm doing and we will wait for you. I don't want anybody to miss a single part of this story, whether you like it or not. Lastly, if you have a specific line you'd like to hear me say, you can buy that for 200 bits. This is not a mandatory thing. It's just an optional thing. But, voice acting, sometimes people like to hear specific lines that make them happy. And so if there's a character in the current arsenal of characters that you want me to have say something super sus or super say-so, as long as it doesn't get my stream shut down, I can do that for 200 bits. But it has to be an Ace Attorney character. I can't do Peng for this. It has to be an Ace Attorney. If you can think of an Ace Attorney character, I'll tell you what. If you can think of one of my Ace Attorney characters that sounds like Peng, if you haven't been here long enough, you might not be able to find one. But if you hear one that sounds like Peng, you might find a loophole. Sylvie, what's happening? How's it going? Welcome. Yo, good to see you, friend. Can we get a shout out for Sylvie Spark? So yeah, if you want to hear a fun little line in one of my characters' voices, you can get it for 200 bits. I think I covered all the bases. I don't want to delay the start of the stream because we've got a lot of ground to cover tonight, folks. So we are going to bring down the house lights, bring up the stage lights, and start the show in just a second. What I want to do first, if it's okay with you guys, if you think this is going to be dry and boring, say so. But because it's been like a month and a half, I thought maybe we might just read down the case. Do you think that would make sense for us to just go through the case on the wiki and just kind of recap what's been going on so we're familiar with the story and then take it from there? Do you think would that be a good use of our time if we went quickly? What sayest thou? I feel like that might be a good way to kind of just catch ourselves up so that we're not like completely lost and confused. Okay, cool. Let's do that. Turnabout Serenade. I will do it in my most active reading style I can so it's not boring. Okay, Turnabout Serenade, typically considered one of the tougher cases to get through and definitely one of the most tedious. So I'm very excited to get into Serenade to Succession after this. I know exactly where to stop, believe it or not. I previewed it in advance. So, without further ado, your recap before the show begins. Let's go through it. Turnabout Serenade. Clavier Gavin invited Apollo Justice and Trucy Wright to his band Guilty as Charged tour on July 7th, 2026, with a 20% discount from the regular price. After the first set, Justice and Trucy were able to access the backstage hallway where they met. Is that the actually beginning? That's the actual beginning. Wait, really? I thought there was going to be... Yeah, I guess so. Okay, they're invited to the concert. After the first set, Justice and Trucy were able to access the backstage hallway where they met the mysterious songstress, Lamirar, along with her blind pianist, Maki Tobai, and her interpreter, Romain Latousse, who were all from Borginia. Latousse, the only one who spoke English, acted as an interpreter for Lamirar. During the second set, Lamirar performed the Guitar Serenade, along with Gavin. Actually, let's do this. Yeah, no. I've got 2 songs for this. This is going to be great. During the second set, Lamirar performed the Guitar Serenade, along with Gavin and Tobai. A magic trick was employed during the performance to create the illusion of Lamirar disappearing from the stage and reappearing behind the audience. However, Gavin's guitar suddenly and unexpectedly caught fire in the middle of the song. Justice and Trucy later went to the Gaviners' dressing room, where Gavin gave them a lyric sheet for the Guitar Serenade and a promotional postcard with a picture of Lamirar. I know, everyone's lying here. The prosecutor was furious about the burnt guitar. He'd apparently not been consulted about it. Trucy, who thought it had been planned, suggested it had gone well with part of the lyrics that Lamirar had been singing at the time. Later, during the third set, Justice and Emma Skye, who had been hired as security detail for the concert, were talking backstage when they heard sounds like gunshots coming from Lamirar's dressing room. They barged in the door, finding a dying Latousse. With his dying breath, Latousse told Justice, "Cold, can't see." The waitress. Guys, it's been a while. I can't read. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Is this a bad idea to recap this? Okay, hold on. I can English. Justice and Emma Skye were talking backstage when they heard sounds like gunshots coming from Lamirar's dressing room. They barged in the door, finding a dying Latousse. With his dying breath, Latousse told Justice, "Cold, can't see. The witness is Siren," while Skye contacted the police. In the backstage hallway, Justice ran into Gavin, who asked him and Trucy to keep the cause of Latousse's death a secret from everyone except the police. I'm going to make the font bigger for my old eyes. Justice signed a document agreeing to Gavin's request. Since they could not go home, Justice and Trucy then decided to investigate. They found a headset lying on the floor in the backstage hallway and noticed it was turned on, but couldn't pick it up for like 3 parts for some asinine reason. Justice then moved to the crime scene, Lamirar's dressing room, which Skye was investigating. The victim had been shot once in the shoulder. Furthermore, 2 bullets were found in the dressing room wall. Skye explained that the murder weapon was a .45 caliber revolver, a very powerful weapon, and that the first shot had missed while the second shot had gone through the victim's shoulder into the wall. A familiar brooch was also found on the floor near the door, and the victim was holding a heart-shaped keyring. Since the killer had already left the room when Justice and Skye went in, it appeared that they had escaped through a route other than the door, likely the air vent. Justice and Trucy left the crime scene and briefly met a man in a silk hat and a magician's outfit similar to Trucy's. Justice asked her about him, but she claimed not to know who he was. On the stage, they found Gavin and Darian Crescend, who, in addition to being second guitarist for the Gaviners, was a detective at Criminal Affairs. Gavin recognized the keyring from the crime scene, saying it was his. It had apparently been missing since that morning. Additionally, Gavin and Crescend were arguing about a missed cue during the concert. Gavin showed Justice a mixing board used for recording each band member's performance separately. It showed that Crescend had been the one to miss the cue. Maybe Apollo has terrible object permanence. Trucy then noticed what appeared to be a further connection between the song lyrics and the events of the day. Latusse's death, the missing heart-shaped keyring, and the guitar catching fire. Everything appeared to be predicted in the lyrics. In the Gaviners' dressing room, they met Lamorar, who revealed that she actually did speak English. She had already heard of Latusse's death, but did not know he'd been murdered. Midway through the conversation, Tobai excused himself to get some fresh air. Justice showed Lamorar the brooch found at the crime scene, which turned out to be hers. She had lost it earlier. When Justice learned that Lamorar was known as the Siren of the Ballad, he realized she must have been the siren Latousse mentioned in about 8 different flashbacks. But she neglected to answer when asked if she had really witnessed the crime. After Lamorar and Justice finished talking, he proceeded to pick up a postcard of Lamorar on the table, and Lamorar asked him to take one. What? What? Oh, I get it. He picked it up and he was like, cool postcard. And she's like, you should have it. After that, they decided to go to the scene of the crime. Skye immediately reprimanded Justice for not keeping an eye on the crime scene as she had told him to, saying that the body had gone missing. Crescend then showed up, saying his guitar had also disappeared. While looking for the body, Justice noticed that the tower in the middle of the stage had been raised. He and Trucy climbed it to find the... He and Trucy climbed it and found the 2 things they were looking for: the victim's body and the missing guitar, along with one they never expected to find: an unconscious Maki Tobai, the pianist. Tobai was immediately arrested because he was the only one who could have done it. This was because he was the only person who could have fit through the air vent, despite having to fire a gun that was like 8 times larger than he can handle. The next day, Gavin visited Justice at the Write Anything agency and said Tobai had asked that Justice defend him in court. Trial, July 9th, 2026. At the trial on July 9th, 2026, Emma Skye was called to the witness stand. She testified that the killer could only have escaped the crime scene through the air vent, and that made Maki Tobai the only possible suspect. On top of that, his fingerprints had been found on the air vent grill, confirming that he had used that route of escape. With the prosecution's case apparently airtight, the judge gave Apollo one chance to present evidence that would overturn the case. Recalling Latousse's last words, Justice asked to summon Lamorar to the witness stand. Gavin maintained that there had been no witnesses to the crime, but the judge agreed to let Lamorar testify. As Lamorar took the stand, Gavin explained that there was another reason why he had not wanted to call her as a witness. Lamorar suffered from amnesia. She did not even remember her real name or anything before the time she had started to sing on stage. Hold, please. About the crime, Lamorar testified that she had seen nothing. There was no way she could have, since she had not gone backstage after the performance in the second set. Justice objected. Her brooch had been found at the scene of the crime, so she must have gone to the dressing room. Lamorar admitted she had gone backstage, but only for a moment. All she had done was glance into the room. Justice remembered that he had briefly heard the door closing before Skye had returned to the crime scene. It must have been Lamorar. She explained that she must have accidentally dropped her brooch inside when she looked into the room. Justice was still not convinced that Lamorar had seen nothing and asked Lamorar to testify about what she had seen when she glanced inside. She claimed she saw nothing and that Romain Latousse's body was behind a wall. But with his bracelet, the source of all his power, Justice noticed she was swallowing. Okay, that is really silly to read and avoid. Justice noticed she was swallowing. Objection! You're swallowing, Lamorar! What does it mean? What does it mean? Justice noticed she was swallowing and then showed her the investigation request, claiming she knew Latousse was shot. She then added to her testimony and claimed that she had seen the bullet holes in the wall. At this point, Justice objected again. The bullet holes were on the same wall as the door, so she could not have seen them without actually going inside. Lamorar admitted that she had actually glanced inside not from the door, but from the little window on the other side of the room. As she returned from the stage, she had heard 2 gunshots from there. She had not seen the shooter, but had heard his voice. Lamorar could not Would it help? You know what I should do? If I ever need to do this, this is what I should do. Hang on. This is what I should do. I should put it on the screen. We're upping our production value, Misfits. Right now. We're upping our production value a little bit. It's going to be a little tight to read, but that's okay. Where were we? Lamarar could not remember exact voices of people and was sure that one had been... All right. No. Okay, here we go. Lamarar admitted that she had actually glanced inside, not from the door, but from the little window on the other side of the room as she returned from the stage. She had heard 2 gunshots from there and had not seen the shooter, but had heard his voice. Lamarar could not remember exact voices of people and was sure that one had not been Tobai. The voice was that of an adult man, but it wasn't Latouche either. I keep having to burp. Even though this testimony appeared to favor Tobai, Justice pointed out that there was a problem with it. A grown man could not have fled from the scene of the crime as had been established. Gavin went on to point out an even bigger contradiction in her testimony. At the moment of the crime, the window in question was closed. Lamarar could not have heard a voice through it. Despite Justice's objections, the judge declared Lamarar's testimony indecisive and ended the cross-examination. Emma Skye returned to the stand. The judge went on to point out something else that had been drawn to his attention. The circumstances of the defendant's arrest. Fuck you! Gavin asked Skye why the killer would have moved the body to the stage. She said that the killer had apparently moved the body to match the song's lyrics, as Trucy Wright had previously pointed out. The stolen keys, the burning guitar, Latouche's death, and the tower on stage being raised. Everything had happened in the same order as the lyrics. Skye testified further that no one in their country could have had a motive to kill the victim. Furthermore, Tobai had left his signature at the crime scene. His signature. Justice questioned Skye about this signature. She said that considering the size of the dressing room, the shooter and the victim couldn't have been more than 5 feet apart, yet the first shot had missed. Since Tobai was blind, this once again pointed to him as the suspect. Justice pointed out that Tobai, being blind, could not have known about the air vent. But Skye said that there had been a stepladder under the air vent due to maintenance that day, and everyone, including Tobai, knew about the maintenance. He must have known there was an exit at the top of the stair ladder. Thinking back to the scene, Justice remembered that one piece of evidence showed that the killer could not be blind. Therefore, it could not be Tobai. The crime scene photo. Latouche had used his own blood to write a message on the floor before he died, but the message had been rubbed out and was unreadable. It is very complicated. If the killer was blind, he could not have seen that the victim was leaving a message and would not have rubbed it out. I'm sorry. What were... Good night. Sorry. Gavin presented a report on Tobai that turned the situation around. Tobai was not blind at all. His blindness was merely a public ploy. Justice confronted Gavin about concealing this information, but Gavin said he had never stated the defendant was blind. Only Skye had. Hey, Edwin. Since Tobai was not blind, he could have easily seen the victim's message and the air vent. He'd not missed the first shot because he was blind, but because of the revolver's powerful kickback. Skye then brought out luminol fluid, which reacted to blood, and said that they might be able to recover the victim's message with it. The message read, IPXX314206. Gavin recognized this as an Interpol ID number. This case gets so complicated. He called Darian Crescend to the witness stand and asked him to look up the number and find out which agent it belonged to. While they waited for the report, Gavin told Justice that why Maki pretended to be blind. Justice presented a postcard featuring Lamarar, claiming that Maki did not need to be led by the hand, but it was the reverse. Wait, sorry. Hold on. Wait, what? While they waited for the report, Gavin told Justice that why Maki pretended to detective no going. He told me do things I'd done running. Gavin told Justice I'm going to guess. Gavin asked Justice why Maki would pretend to be blind. Justice presented a postcard featuring Lamarar, claiming that Maki did not need to be led by the hand, but it was actually the reverse, meaning it was Lamarar who needed to be held by the hand as she is blind. Lamarar, pretending she can't speak, pretending she can see, actually is blind. Maki, pretending to be blind, actually can see, also pretends not to be able to speak English, can speak English. The judge told Gavin to disagree that Lamarar, but Gavin instead. Who edited this document? The judge assumed Gavin would disagree, but Gavin instead actually agreed to Justice's outrageous claim. Okay, so essentially the judge was like, that's impossible, and Gavin's like, I believe it. Lamarar was called to the witness stand again. She confirmed that she was blind. Her blindness had been concealed as a publicity ploy. Everyone on her staff knew the truth, including Latousse. It turned out when Latousse said, can't see, he was referring to the witness, Lamarar, not himself. The bailiff then announced that they had finished investigating the Interpol number. Crescend took to the stand and revealed that the agent registered under the number IPXX314206 was none other than Romain Latousse. When he wrote down that message, he was trying to reveal his own identity, not the killer's. The murder weapon belonged to him as well. Interpol agents had permission to carry .45 caliber revolvers. As Crescend was about to leave, Lamarar interrupted. She said she recognized his voice. It was the same one she'd heard talking to Latousse before she heard the gunshots. Lamarar named Detective Crescend as the murderer, and the whole courtroom fell into chaos. Investigation, July 9th, 2026. On July 9th, 2026, at the Wright Anything Agency, Apollo Justice questioned Trucy Wright about Phoenix Wright's whereabouts. She said he was off on some sort of secret mission. Justice appeared skeptical about Lamarar's accusation at the trial. After all, Darian Crescend had an obvious alibi. The murder had occurred during the third set when he was on stage with the rest of the Gaviners. Justice and Trucy then received a visit from the man in the magician's outfit that they had met in the backstage hallway the previous day. This time, Trucy recognized him as Valent Grimarier, the former stage partner of her biological father, Zach Grimarier. Valent gave them a videotape containing a recording of Lamarar's performance during the concert, saying that he had been the one behind the magic trick that made Lamarar disappear. He then left saying he would be at the Sunshine Coliseum. Justice visited Maki Tabai at the detention center but could not talk to him since he didn't speak English. However, you know what this sounds like as I'm reading this? I realize this sounds like one of those AI-driven summaries. Because they probably are just reading the wiki page. When you find the videos on YouTube that are like clearly like AI voiceover synopses of books and movies, I feel like that's what I'm doing right now. I just have to change it all to present tense. However, as he talked to Trucy about... However, as he and Trucy talked to each other about the case, Justice felt his bracelet react. Thinking he might have imagined it, he decided not to pursue the issue any further. They later met Lamarar at the Sunshine Coliseum and asked her about the illusion. But Valent had made her promise not to tell anyone how it was done. She then showed them a headset that she had found in the hallway floor. Do we have an ad? I have 18 minutes on the timer. Is there an ad playing right now? Huh? What the heck? Anyone else getting an ad other than Golden Eagle, or is it just Golden Eagle? What do you mean, yes? How can you answer me if you're in the middle of an ad? What? Am I being trolled? Objection! They later met Lammerard at the Sunshine Coliseum and asked her about the illusion. But Valent had made her promise not to tell anyone how it was done. She then showed them a headset that she had found on the hallway floor, the same one that had been lying there since the day of the murder. It was apparently a headset worn by everyone on staff for communication, as well as the band members, though it only worked within a 30-foot radius. Justice then went to the stage, where he encountered Valent again. He told Justice about Magnifique Grammarier, the famous magician who had founded Troupe Grammarier, and that the troupe had ended 7 years ago due to Magnifique's death and Zach's disappearance. This is such a complicated case. Valent also mentioned that something was strange about the piano. Inside it, Justice found a portable switch of sorts. Since the piano wouldn't play right with the switch inside it, Justice deduced that it had been hidden there after the concert. He returned to Lammerard's dressing room, where Emma Skye showed them a strange device she'd found under the sofa. Wondering if the two devices were connected, Justice pressed the switch, which caused the device Skye had found to produce fire. It was a remote-triggered igniter. Examining the device, Skye saw that it had a weak signal that only reached about 30 feet. However, the cross-section diagram of the Coliseum showed that the distance between Lammerard's dressing room and the stage was less than that, meaning that it could have been triggered from backstage up onto the stage. Outside of the Coliseum, Justice ran into Crescend, who was annoyed that Clavier Gavin wouldn't let him work due to being a suspect. He insisted that he had an airtight alibi, as Lammerard's account of events was impossible. When questioned about Gavin, he told Justice that the prosecutor was in his office. At Gavin's office, Justice found the prosecutor on the phone, talking about something Romain Latouche had been after on orders. Man, this is just not written well. At Gavin's office, Justice found the prosecutor on the phone. But as a voice actor, when you audition especially, you have to learn to make trash into gold. Justice found the prosecutor on the phone talking about something Romain Latouche had been after on orders from Interpol. Gavin showed Justice and Trucy a strange lump of plastic about 1.5 inches long, which was apparently a replica of whatever Latouche was after, though he was not sure what it was. He also told them about the burnt guitar, which had been a gift from Lammerard. It had been vacuum-packed and sent all the way from Virginia. Inside the remains of the guitar, Justice found an igniter identical to the one found under the sofa at the crime scene. Gavin also showed them an article from the Virginian Daily Bugle about the crime. It did not mention that the crime had followed the lyrics to Guitar's Serenade. Hey, thanks, Sunny420. Thanks for the 13 months. I hope you have a great evening. Justice returned to the Sunshine Coliseum with Trucy and ran into Emma Skye, who told them she couldn't find Lammerard anywhere. They went to the stage to look for her and noticed the lights were off. Something else was also different about the stage. The bass case was now closed, and a piece of cloth could be seen sticking out of it. Upon opening it, Justice and Trucy were once again shocked. Lammerard was inside the case, unconscious. Lammerard was taken to the hospital. Skye told Justice she had been struck on the forehead by an unknown assailant. Upon recovering, Lammerard thanked Justice for saving her life and told him what had happened. She had been attacked in her dressing room. Knowing that the power in the stage was out due to maintenance, she had run there and hidden inside the bass case, where she had lost consciousness. The assailant had said nothing, so she did not know who it was, but since she had been struck on the forehead, it had probably been someone taller than her, likely a man. Justice wondered if Crescend could have been the attacker. Justice showed Lammerard the strange lump from Gavin's office, which she recognized as a Borginian cocoon. She did not know much about it except for one thing: Borginian cocoons were not to be taken out of Borginia. Doing so was punishable by death. Latouche had, as Justice deduced, had been tracking down Borginian cocoon smuggling. Justice knew Lammerard couldn't be the smuggler, so there was only one other person it could be. He asked Lammerard to act as an interpreter and returned to the detention center to talk with Tabai. Tabai was frightened upon seeing the cocoon replica and asked Justice if he knew anything. With Lamoureux translating for him, he told Justice the cocoon could be used to cure incuritis. The cocoon could be used to cure incuritis. Incuritis. That's the disease. Incuritis. Fucking unobtainium. An otherwise incurable illness. Justice asked Tobai if he had been smuggling cocoons, but Tobai would not answer, saying only that he couldn't go home. Justice suspected this was referring to the death penalty for cocoon smuggling. The meeting was then interrupted by Darian Crescend, who said that there was a call for Tobai from the Borginian embassy. The interruption made Justice suspicious that Crescend was trying to stop him from questioning Tobai, and he realized there could only be one reason why. Final day. We have to stop early so we don't spoil the rest of the case. Trial, July 10th, 2026. Before the trial started on July 10th, 2026, Apollo Justice was greeted by Valant Grammarier in the defendant lobby. Valant told him that a Grammarier illusion was the key to everything that had happened in the case, and left. The bailiff then informed Justice that the trial would start 30 minutes late because the judge had gone to the hospital to visit the Chief Justice's son, who was terminally afflicted with incuritis. He gave Justice a newspaper article about the illness. It was the first recorded case of it in the country. Clavier Gavin opened the trial by refuting Lamoureux's previous accusations with the same reason Darian Crescend had given. He had been playing on stage and thus had an alibi. With Lamoureux's testimony dismissed and the judge about to declare a guilty verdict, Justice remembered that Maki Tobai had been about to tell him something about the case when their meeting had been interrupted by Crescend. He asked to have Tobai testify about the crime, with Lamoureux acting as an interpreter. Tobai and Lamoureux were called to the stand. The first time, by the way, we've had two people behind the witness stand. With Lamoureux translating, Tobai told the court that he had proof of his innocence. The murderer had followed the lyrics to Guitar Serenade, but he did not understand them, since they were in English, so he could not have done it. However, Justice's bracelet reacted to this statement. Justice glanced at Lamoureux the moment she said the word English. Justice was now convinced that Tobai did understand English. Lamoureux insisted he didn't, but Justice had a counterargument. If Tobai did not speak English, he should not have known that the crime had followed the lyrics in the first place. Lamoureux said that he had read about it in a newspaper. Justice presented the copy of the Virginian newspaper he had received from Gavin. It did not mention the lyrics to the song, so Tobai could not have learned about it from there. Tobai changed his story, saying that he had been told about the lyrics by Lamoureux herself, which she confirmed. But Justice's bracelet reacted again. Lamoureux had swallowed again when telling the court she had told Tobai about the lyrics, knowing that she was lying to protect Tobai like the dirty, swallowing, lying asshole she was. Justice told them both that he believed in Tobai's innocence and they should trust him instead of lying to protect each other. Tobai finally confessed that he understood English. He told the court he had gone into Lamoureux's dressing room and found Romain Letousse's body on the floor. Upon hearing Justice and Emma Sky's voices from the outside, he had panicked and fled through the air vent. Gavin dismissed this explanation. Since Tobai had been at the crime scene and understood the lyrics after all, he had to have been the shooter. Knowing that Tobai was still hiding something, Justice tried to get him to testify about the Borginian cocoon, but he refused. With the defense and defendant at odds, the judge was forced to declare a recess. During the recess, Tobai told Justice something surprising. He had gone into the dressing room, found Letousse's body, and only then heard gunshots. He said the air vents connected both the stage and backstage areas, something he had heard from a magician. He found the body and then heard gunshots. Lamoureux's testimony. The trial resumed. Justice told the court that Tobai was still refusing to testify about the cocoon smuggling, but that he had another witness to call, Lamoureux. Gavin objected, saying Lamarar had already been cross-examined and her testimony found insubstantial. But Justice informed the court about the attack on Lamarar the previous day. Justice argued that Lamarar was only known in the United States as a foreign singer who didn't speak English, yet someone had tried to keep her quiet. The only possible explanation was that she had said something incriminating during her previous testimony, and someone wanted to silence her. Justice claimed that her attacker must have been the same person who killed Latouche. Lamarar took the witness stand again. She testified once more about what she had heard. Crescend and Latouche talking, followed by gunshots. Justice decided to try a different angle of questioning and asked her what they were talking about. She recalled hearing one phrase very clearly: "It's over, press the switch, now." Justice presented the remote trigger he had found on stage, claiming it to be the switch in question. Gavin argued that someone on stage couldn't have heard a voice coming from Lamarar's dressing room, but Justice then presented the headset. As the cross-section diagram showed, the direct distance from the dressing room to the stage was less than 30 feet, making communication with the headset possible. Gavin said Justice couldn't even know for sure that the switch had been on the stage all this time. Someone could have hidden it there afterwards. Justice then showed the court the igniter, which was connected to the remote trigger. Gavin realized what Justice was getting at: his guitar suddenly catching on fire in the middle of the concert. He admitted that the igniter could have been the cause, but his guitar had caught fire during Lamarar's song in the second set, whereas the shooting had happened during the Gaviner's performance in the third set. Justice was then ready to present a counterargument that would turn the case around. What was incorrect wasn't the assumption about the switch, but the assumption about the entire case so far, namely that it had happened during the third set. He and Skye had heard gunshots from the backstage hallway, and Tobias had admitted that he had been in the dressing room at the time. However, despite them all having heard the shots, no one had actually witnessed the shooting. The shooting, Justice claimed, had not happened at that moment, but earlier during Lamarar's performance. The judge argued that this contradicted the evidence. The crime had followed the song lyrics, in which the part about the bullet came after the fire. Justice, who had finally realized why the criminal had gone to all that trouble of making the crime follow the lyrics, explained the contradiction. The events had not actually happened in the same order as the lyrics. Everyone involved had simply assumed that they had, which was precisely the criminal's objective. By making the crime appear to follow the lyrics, even taking the risk of moving Latouche's body to the stage at the end, they had created the false impression that everything had happened in a certain order. It had been assumed that the shooting had happened after the fire, but it had actually been the other way around. The real crime had happened during the second set. Lamarar's ballad, meaning the murderer, must have been someone without an alibi for that set. Gavin said there was still a contradiction in Justice's claims. At the time of the crime, the window through which Lamarar claimed to have heard the gunshots was closed. Rethinking the case, Justice reasoned that there was only one explanation. If the window was closed, and Lamarar had really heard what she did, she must have been somewhere else. Gavin said that there was only one window at the crime scene, but Justice pointed out that there was another window, the air vent. Gavin asked what possible reason Lamarar could have to be in the air vent. Justice decided to ask Lamarar herself. She admitted she had been above the ceiling at the time. The window through which she had heard the shots was on the ceiling, not the wall. Lamarar was asked to testify about why she had been above the ceiling right in the middle of her performance. She would not say why, claiming to be bound to secrecy. But she did name the person who had made her promise to keep it a secret: Valent Grimarier, the magician, who had been responsible for the illusion employed during Lamarar's song. Justice presented the videotape with the recording of Lamarar's performance. Lamarar had disappeared during the illusion, despite the fact that if you look at the platform she's standing on, you can see right underneath it, which means there's actually literally no way there could have been a trapdoor in the platform, but I digress. Lamarar had disappeared during the illusion, proving that she had not been on stage the whole time. She must have been hidden from view during that span of time, moving from the stage to the back of the forum. The diagram showed that the air vent covered that whole distance. Lamarar admitted to using the air vent to move across the Colosseum during her performance. The judge argued that she'd only disappeared for 20 seconds and that she couldn't have moved all that fast. Since Lamoureux would still not tell us how she'd done it, it fell on Justice to explain. Lamoureux claimed to have made the trip in 2 minutes, but she'd only disappeared for 20 seconds. Looking over the video of the performance again, Justice noted that Lamoureux's brooch had disappeared during the magic act. She had been wearing it on stage, but not when she reappeared behind the audience. Justice claimed that there was only one explanation for the brooch's disappearance, and this was where we lost an hour and a half. This is where we lost an hour and a half. Because there was like 10 other things I could have presented with super justifiable reasons. And the reason I didn't present the brooch was because, to me, the brooch didn't contradict the evidence. Because she could still say she ran the 2 minutes backstage and she lost the brooch along the way. That did not in any way, shape, or form contradict the premise, which was, how could she make a 2-minute run in 20 seconds? The fact that she lost the brooch backstage, we already knew she was running backstage. We didn't know how she did it in 20 seconds, if it took 2 minutes. So presenting the fact that she had the brooch, what they're driving at was that there was someone else on stage, that the person who came up at the end was not her, or maybe the person who was there at the beginning was not her. And the reason that confused me so much was because she had already said she lost the brooch on the way. So I'm sitting here like, okay, so the fact that she's missing the brooch at the end just means she lost it. We already knew she lost the brooch. So pointing out that she lost the brooch does nothing but reinforce what we already knew. And it's a bit of an oversight on the part of the case. The case wanted you to present the brooch because it meant that clearly there was another person that didn't have the brooch because it was a one-of-a-kind brooch. And they confused it by arguing that she had lost the brooch during the run. So can you see how that's a little confusing? When you're like, I lost the brooch while I was running there in 20 seconds. And they're like, but it took you 2 minutes. How did you get there in 20 seconds? When you lost the brooch along the way. And then you're like, present the brooch. And I'm like, no, the brooch isn't going to be the correct piece of evidence. Because it doesn't disprove that she made the run. But you're supposed to present the brooch to point out that there was a different person there. It's a bad fucking puzzle, that one. Anyway. Justice noticed that Lamoureux's brooch I'm not going to spend another hour and a half breaking it down. Justice had noticed that Lamoureux's brooch had disappeared during the magic act. She had been wearing it on stage, but not when she reappeared behind the audience. Justice claimed that there was only one explanation for the brooch's disappearance, as well as Lamoureux making the trip across so quickly. The Lamoureux seen on stage before her disappearance and the one who reappeared behind the audience were two different people. Furthermore, the brooch had been found in the dressing room directly below the air vent, meaning she must have accidentally dropped it through the grate while she crossed it. Lamoureux confirmed that she had dropped the brooch through the air vent. Gavin, who knew part of the trick behind the illusion, said that the fake Lamoureux seen on stage was Valent Grimarier, who had replaced her before the tower was risen. Justice pointed out that she was still singing after being replaced by Valent and asked how that was possible. Trucy suggested a recording, but Lamoureux denied it, saying that what they heard was her own voice. She had kept singing even while moving through the air vent. The judge asked how the people in the dressing room could not have heard her voice if she was singing in the air vent. But Gavin explained that the dressing rooms were fitted with speakers that piped in direct feed from the stage microphones. Lamoureux's voice in the ceiling would have sounded just like her voice coming from the speakers, so no one would have known that she was in the air vent. This is like a 30-minute recap. Lamoureux then remembered something else. The moment she heard gunshots, she had been startled and stopped singing for only a moment. Justice realized that with this information, they might be able to find the exact time the gunshots had been fired. Watching the recording again, Justice found the error he was looking for. One verse in the song was pleasure, pleasure, but a fleeting melody. But instead, Lamoureux had sung pleasure, but a fleeting melody. This appeared to confirm the time of the shooting, meaning that Darian Crescend had no alibi after all. Gavin said that there was still the possibility that Lamoureux was lying to protect Tobai, and the only way to be sure was to cross-examine Crescend himself. Court was adjourned for a 15-minute recess. And that brings us to where we start tonight. So, a separate gunshot happened during Lamarar's ballad. And then 2 separate gunshots happen afterwards in the dressing room. Lamarar witnessed the events, or thought she witnessed the events, from the vents above her dressing room. And Lamarar claims that the murderer is Darian Crescend. The day after that, an attack is made on her life, or an attempt is made on her life, and she narrowly escapes it. Now that we've ruled out every other possibility and we have a good idea of when the actual murder took place, not during the third case, like was originally presented, the song, but during the second song, because we're dealing with a murderer that knows that people are going to make the connection that the events of the murder are going according to the song. So, the murderer made sure to do everything in the style of the song, but at different times, so that people would naturally assume it must have happened sequentially, when in fact it didn't. That way, he could throw everyone off his trail, making them think the murder happened during the third song, when in fact the murder had happened way earlier during the second song. The reason he wanted to throw them off the trail and mislead on the order of events was because he was, if it's Darian, he was on stage playing during the third song. He has a rock solid alibi for the third song. He doesn't have an alibi for the second song. So if we're able to prove that the murder actually took place during the second song, which it seems like we're going to be able to do based on the evidence we gleaned from talking to Lamarar, suddenly Darian's alibi disappears. All right, I'm going to take a 3-minute break because my voice is now very dry. I hope that long-ass recap was helpful. And when we come back, we'll start the show and we'll wrap up the case. Sound good? I'll see you in just a few minutes. Don't go far. I'm being super time efficient this time. We're being super, super, super fast. All right. 2, 1. Welcome back. We don't usually do recaps every Friday, but when we've taken like 2 months off, it feels like it's worth it. And now, let me quickly plug my mouse in so it can be charging while we do this tonight. July 10th, 1:40 p.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 2. It's been so long. I'm so excited. Apollo! I can't believe it. It really happened during the second act. And right in the middle of Lamara's performance. The reason why she was in the air vent. And that switch and the flaming guitar. When you link it all together, that's what you end up with. Oh, son of a bitch. Who is this? I knew you had what it took. This has to be Phoenix, right? I knew you had what it took. Oh, Daddy! Mr. Wright! You believed in me? Not really. Huh? I just thought that'd make a cooler entrance than say, hiya. Why do I even bother hoping? Where have you been lately, Daddy? You haven't been coming to the office at all. Sorry about that. Trucy, I'm on a secret mission. Secret? You mean like you're undercover? Like Mr. Latouche, only shorter and not as well dressed. Oh no, what if you're shot too, Daddy? Why would I do that to you? Wait, hang on. Wait. My controller's stuck. Alright, my controller's unstuck. Would I do a thing like that to you? Anyway, I'm off for a while again. Huh? You're leaving? Oh, one thing before I go. What? Good luck. Right? Is that all you came to say? I think you have things figured. Making up words. I think you have things pretty much under control. You'll get Maki to buy off the hook, no doubt. Yeah, but you're after that detective, aren't you? Darian Crescent. It won't be easy proving he did it. Especially not under the current court system. The current court system? What did Prosecutor Gavin say during the trial? Your case is based on one fragile assumption. Namely, that our diva divine is telling the truth. But what about all the proof? The brooch, the switch. A piece of jewelry and a lyrical blunder? There are plenty of other ways to explain these things. The flaming guitar, too. All because you lack definitive proof of their connection to the case. But if the sultry songstress is lying, your case melts like the butter in like the butter. Oh no. I'm so rusty. If the sultry songstress is lying, your case melts like butter in a frying pan, leaving behind the faintly singed scent of failure. So what do I do? Like I said, good luck. And be aware that it'll be impossible to prove his guilt by conventional methods. Oh, that reminds me. I have something to give you from our detective friend. Detective Sky? Emma? Let's see. This bag of snacks here was meant for me. Here it is. What are those, Daddy? They don't look like very good snacking material. They were found at the scene. Analysis of the fragments revealed traces of gunpowder. Gunpowder? Probably a firecracker or something similar, like the ones kids are into these days. These fragments were found under the sofa at the scene of the crime, actually. Under the sofa? Hey, Apollo! That's where we found that little device thingy! Right, this. Well, finally some evidence that makes sense. I'm sorry, what? Found at the crime scene, bearing gunpowder residue. Possibly a firecracker? I love when we're given critical evidence in the very last fucking phase of the game. That's all from me, I suppose. See you after the verdict. Maybe. Right. Every man has an igniter inside him. Excuse me? Find Darian Krishen's igniter and set it off. And he walked out the door, just like a magician, normally. What does he want us to do? No conventional methods, what does that mean? I guess we just have to take his advice and hope it makes sense when the time comes. I guess. We're almost at the finish line. Hang in there, Trucy. July 10th, 1:55 p.m., District Court, Courtroom Number 3. Court is now in session. Prosecutor Gavin, where's Detective Crescent? In the witness lounge, ready to be called at any time. Very well. Might I add, I don't believe any of this. He, Darian, was the first detective I ever worked with. We stopped working together when he moved to Criminal Affairs Division 3. But his guitar playing, it fires my imagination. And that's nice, but it has nothing to do with the matter at hand. Correct? Oh, I know. Air forehead. Very well. Call the final witness to the stand. Detective Darian Crescent. Name and occupation, please. Darian Crescent, Detective, Criminal Affairs, Division 3. That's the International Affairs Division, for those of you who didn't know. And I'm a guitarist for the Gaviners. Maybe you've heard of us. Do you fully understand the circumstances under which you stand before us today? Yeah, I understand, Your Honor. What I don't understand is how you let this happen, partner. You gave me your word. I wouldn't be standing here. The situation's changed, Darian. And don't call me partner. So much for old friends. I see what you're doing, Darian. You're pressing the prosecution. Your Honor, if we could begin the trial. Yes, it's high time we did. Let's hear your testimony. You may begin with your response to Lamarar's testimony. Should be like accusations or something. If in fact you have anything to say about it. Oh, I got plenty to say. Lying must be a national pastime in Virginia. And wherever you're from, Mr. Justice. Oh, and wherever you're from, Mr. Justice. Conventional methods are out the window, huh? Here goes nothing. This guy is one of my favorite animations. When he gets really pissed off and he thrashes his hair around everywhere, it's like one of the funniest animations in the game. We will definitely see him do it. The diva's lying, plain and simple. She's got nothing to back up her story. In the first place, she never heard my voice. She forgot the words because she heard gunshots? As if. Didn't Detective Emma Skye hear those gunshots during the third set anyway? The shooting took place when I was on stage, man. So you claim Lamarar's testimony was a lie? Hey, don't get me wrong. I dig what she's doing. Trying to protect that kid. And she's got the court eating vague statements out of her hand just 'cause she's blind. You go too far, Darian. Look, all I'm saying is, you've got a reliable witness, huh? Why not listen to the detective? Detective Skye? I see. Mr. Justice, you may begin the cross-examination. He didn't waste any time finding our weak spot. I can't do this with Lamarar's testimony alone. I'll have to find some other way to prove when the shooting took place. Darian's rebuttal. The diva's lying, plain and simple. She's got nothing to back up her story. You don't have any proof she was lying. Oh yeah, kid? You saying I lied? No, I'm just saying, Apollo, glare back at him. I couldn't help it. I flinched by reflex. Detective Crescend! Yeah? What do you want? Nothing. Apollo! Chin up, back straight, you're wilting. This guy's hard as nails. He makes Walkie look downright cooperative. Look, there's no way the diva remembers my voice. In the first place, she never heard my voice. You never talked to her? Even though you were playing in the same concert? Not a word, as far as I can recall. But weren't there planning sessions or something? Gavin took care of all that himself. Darian wasn't involved in any of the meetings with her. As if you can just go around remembering everyone's voice like that anyway. Only an idiot would believe that. Look at that little bounce in his hair. God, that point and laugh. This is one of the meanest looking. This is one of the rudest animations. Lamarar's hearing's very sensitive. She could remember him if she heard him, I'm sure of it. I just can't prove it. And I need proof. She forgot the words because she heard gunshots? As if. We know she missed the words. The mixing board proves it. Oh yeah? There was a mistake, but blame it on the gunshot. Blaming it on the gunshots is a lame excuse. What do you mean? The mixing board proves what? It proves there was a mistake in the song, a missed cue. So? She just flubbed it up, big time, that's all. She spins this story about a gunshot to protect the kid, to cover for her own goof. Man, I have to hand it to her. If she wasn't sticking it to me at the same time. Darian, watch what you say. Lamarar is an artist. She just flubbed it up. That's no small accusation for a performer of her caliber. Oh yeah, she got to you all right. I can see it in your eyes. I tell you, most of her stuff is so pretentious, it's way over my head. I'm detecting a rift in the Gaviner's ranks. Anyway, she's too close to the defendant. Her testimony can't be trusted. You ask me, I'd go with Detective Sky's story at the drop of a pick. That is the second time he's pushed Detective Sky as the main trustable witness. Didn't Detective Emma Sky hear those gunshots during the third set anyway? Hold it! Actually, I was there too. So I hear. Which means you heard them too, right? The gunshots? Yes. We heard gunshots. Neither I nor Emma actually saw the shooting, mind you. I guess you and Lamar got the same excuse then. We know one thing for certain here. There were gunshot-like sounds that emanated from that room during the third set. What we must determine is whether those shots were actually gunshots.
Maki heard them too. Remember, he said he ran for the air duct when he heard them.
So how do we figure out just what those gunshots during the third set were? I mean, we know now it was literally just handed to us. The shooting took place when I was on stage, man. That could have been what the shooter wanted us to think. I'll tell you what the shooter, that kid wants you to think. He wants you to think the diva heard me in that room. I'm back to relying on Lamarar's testimony. As much as I'm enjoying the Darien and Forehead show, there is no need for such tempers. Don't make us into some comedy duo! This means the Gavin and Darien show's canceled? Neither of your claims can be proven or disproved. We could argue for days like this and get nowhere. Prosecutor Gavin is quite right. This court will hear no further discussion on this topic without new facts. New facts, huh? He's pretty eager to paint Lamarar as a liar, isn't he? Yeah, because her testimony is basically our entire case.
That's tough. So what do we do?
I've got a few ideas. I just need to find another way to prove it didn't happen when he says it did. I got a really quick preview from my artist. Hang on a second. From my rigging team. What is this? I gotta check this real quick. Super important. What do we think? Got it. Cool. What's the other one? Love it. Awesome. All right. Good news. I love when I get updates that are awesome. All right, so let's see what we have here. The diva's lying, plain and simple. She's got nothing to back up her story. In the first place, she never heard my voice. She forgot the words because she heard gunshots, as if. Didn't Detective Emma Sky hear those gunshots during the third set anyway? Can I present at this point right now? This? Objection! Nice. Some things were found today at the crime scene after yesterday's trial. What things? The first was this. Small device. That's the remote-triggered igniter. Correct. And one more thing. What are those? The remains of something burnt? Oh, not another guitar, I hope. Traces of gunpowder were found on these fragments. Wait a minute, I'm confused. Did Phoenix tell us how he got these? How does the prosecution already have a report on exactly what these are if Phoenix handed them to me? Where did he say he got these from? How did Phoenix get these? All right. He got them from Sky. Okay. So Sky filed the report, but then snuck them to Phoenix to give to the defense. I'm sure that's legal. We have a report that it was something like a firecracker. How did Gavin know about this? Oh, thank you. Hey, I'm ahead of the story. I'm glad that I'm not the only one that's confused by that. How did Gavin know about this? What? You think Detective Sky works for you? I received the report this morning before coming here. That's when I made my decision, actually. What decision is this, Prosecutor Gavin? I registered Darian as a witness in today's trial. Just in case. This raises another possibility. Those gunshot-like sounds during the third set could have been 2 firecrackers rigged to go off by remote control. You got an active imagination, don't you? But you shouldn't say every little thing you think. Your explanation there seems a bit too convenient for me. How so? So you're saying these firecrackers just happened to go off? Right when 2 witnesses came walking by. Oh, man.
That's right. Darian was out on stage when it happened, Apollo. How would he know someone was backstage right then?
If a firecracker goes off in the forest and there's no one to hear, you get my drift? Why go through the trouble, man?
How do I explain this?
He may not look it, but Darian is a gifted detective. Show any weakness and he's sure to find it. He may not look it, partner. Gee, thanks, man. That reminds me. I happened to pass through that very same hallway several times that day myself. And I saw something odd there just before the third set. Something odd? A headset. The kind all the band and staff members were wearing.
That's right. We picked this up in front of the door to that dressing room.
What if that headset wasn't dropped, but placed? And what if it was turned on? You could hear what was going on in the hallway.
Even if you were out on stage.
Whose side are you on, Gavin? Listen to me, Darian. There are no sides in a court of law. Which is why I now turn to you, Hair Forehead. I have a question for you. For me? The igniter and the burnt fragments that were found at the scene of the crime. It's certainly a possibility that they were part of a ruse to fake the sound of gunshots. Throw the headset from the hallway into the mix and you could fabricate an alibi. But we're still no closer to proving anything. Those gunshots might have been real or fake. We can't say. You've raised the possibility that shots heard during the third set were faked. Now you need to prove the other half of the case.
This is such anime writing.
Ace Attorney generally has really great writing. We're really in like the thick of like tropey anime writing right now, where like after every single sentence, Apollo's like, something I forgot. What answer? The other half. Evidence. Someone said something? My turn. You know, it's like you're just literally repeating the last thing Gavin says after every sentence. The other half. Look, I'll just tell him. He wants you to prove the thing went down in the second act, while our little piano player was on stage. That right, Gavin? Indeed. If you can't prove that, then to continue this cross-examination would be pointless. Well, Mr. Justice? Can you prove the crime took place during the second set? Yeah, I think.
You'd better know, Apollo. Otherwise, we're through.
It can be proven! You make it sound like someone else is going to come along and do it for you. Let's continue with the cross-examination then, shall we? Witness, your testimony, if you would. This isn't gonna be easy. I need some decisive proof and fast. You ready, kid? 'Cause I am. The shooting took place during the second set. If you're so sure, let's see your proof.
He's pretty eager to paint Lamar as a liar, isn't he?
Yeah, because her testimony is basically our entire case.
This is tough. So what do we do?
Got a few ideas. We just need to find another way to prove it didn't happen when he says it did. Okay, so we're back here. Wow, all of that just for an addition. The shooting took place during the second set. If you're so sure, let's see your proof.
Hold it!
But the gunshots heard during the third set could have been... What? Some kind of a setup? I've heard that one before.
We need proof, Apollo. We need to prove that the shooting took place during the second set.
Well, if you know how to do that, I'm all ears.
Maybe the gunshots are the key after all.
What do you mean?
Well, Lamar said she heard them, right? Right in the middle of her illusion when she was up above the ceiling.
When she forgot the words to the song, yeah.
If you can prove the gun was shot right when she missed those lyrics, we're home free, I'd think.
True. Not easy, but true.
Is there some way to prove that? Let's take a look through our evidence. Maybe there's something in there.
Hey, aren't you supposed to be cross-examining me? Try to refrain from private discussions during cross-examination, Mr. Justice. Right, Your Honor. Sorry. Just let me take a quick look through the court record.
He's pretty eager to paint Lamar as a liar, isn't he?
We already did this. The shooting took place during the second set. If you're so sure, let's see your proof. You think this was some kind of a firecracker?
Yeah, or one of those noisemakers, like you shoot off on New Year's.
Did you know that in China they use firecrackers on New Year's to scare off evil? So it's kind of the same thing.
Really? I had no idea. Well, did you know this? It takes more than 500 peanuts to make one 12-ounce jar of peanut butter.
At least my useless fact had something to do with the evidence. Receiver transmitter for voice signals with a 30-foot range. All concert staff want one. igniters triggered by a remote trigger. How do we prove that the shooting took place during the second set? Tell me it's in the video somewhere. Like you see a vent flash or something. That's when it's supposed to happen. Right there. Right there. And that's where we see the igniter get hit. Estimated time of death 9 to 9:30. The shooting took place during the second set. The second set was her song, right? Wait. No. Wait. The shooting took place during the second set. If you're so sure, let's see your proof. So, I don't think this is the evidence right now, but this is actually really interesting because we have this track that plays. Oh, wait. Fuck. Huh. Can I change the song? Have they changed it permanently? Can I not change the song anymore? Oh, fuck. Oh, well. Well, let's play it anyway. So it should be right at the start. Oh! The recording caught it! Oh my God! Insane. Insane. Objection! Hold on. I was literally gonna say, I want to play the other song back because I'm like, so we have two errors that happened. During one of the earlier songs, Darian had been having an argument with Gavin about Darian making a mistake and fucking up his bass line or fucking up his guitar line toward the end. And I thought we'd be able to go back and play it again because he's like, I didn't fuck it up. I swear I didn't fuck it up. But now the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking, oh, fuck, if that was the last song they played, then her flub during the second track is the gunshot going off. And when he fucks up during his part in the last song, the very first argument we see them having, he fucked up the song because he reached into his pocket to trigger the firecracker downstairs. But we don't have that track anymore. We only have this track. But that's why he fucked up during the other track, is because he was triggering the firecracker with the other remote, dude. Anyway. It seems there was clear proof left behind. Let's try that again, only get it right. It seems there was clear proof left behind. Right here in Lamarar's song. Her song. What exactly is this, device thingy? A new variety of gramophone, perhaps? Oh, come on, we just used this! And don't get me started on gramophone. This device was used to record the performance part by part. Part? You move the sliders to adjust the volume. Each instrument is adjustable separately, Lamarar's voice included. But what does this prove? According to Lamarar's testimony, at the moment of the shooting, she forgot the words to the song. Ah, you intend to examine the recording at that moment, yeah? We might even hear those gunshots. Exactly. Ha! Ridiculous. How are you supposed to hear the gunshots back in the dressing room How are you supposed to hear the gunshots back in that dressing room out on stage? Have you forgotten, Darian? We were all wearing these headsets. Oh. We were all deeply involved in our performance. But Lamarar's headset would have picked up what she'd heard all the same. Well, then let's get to analyzing that recording. Right now! Lamarar stopped singing when she heard the shots fired. Find that spot and I'll find the gunshots. Take that! Your Honor, listen to this part. What is this? I hear nothing. How is that possible? Wait, what? Wait, no, but I just... Oh, fuck you. Fuck you. I literally played it 3 times to verify. But I had to have it selected. Fuck you, game. Okay. There. Take that! Stupid. Your Honor, listen to this part. What's this? I hear nothing. Wait, what? Okay, we have to save. This fucking case. I'm sorry, what? Did I have to have the track selected? I have to have the track selected, don't I? So first I had it playing in the right spot. No, it is this, but I had to have the fucking track selected. Take that! Stupid. Your Honor, listen closely to this part. This is the track with Lamarar's vocals. I did hear something faintly there, yes. Why, it sounded like a gunshot. What? This has to be some kind of mistake. I believe a case has been made. Gunshots were heard during the second set, which means Lamarar's testimony was true. Order! So she was telling the truth about what she heard?
It was the other man speaking, not Mr. Latouche.
Well, what did he say?
It's over. Press the switch now.
Just after that, there was a gunshot. And then the guitar caught on. Just after that, there was a gunshot. And then the guitar caught fire. Detective Crescend, you weren't on stage during the second set. You could have done it. But why did we only hear one gunshot on the recording? Weren't 2 bullets fired from the weapon? Lamarar was moving through the air vent, Your Honor. She must not have been close enough for her mic to catch the first shot. But then, as she passed over the dressing room, the gun fired again and Mr. Latouche's life was taken. Well, Detective Crescend? Oh, once again, I'm reminded of something. Our performance that day. Your performance? Seeing the mixing board jogged my memory. He's about to say what I just said. He's gonna point out how during the final track something hitched, and we're gonna point out that that's when the firecrackers were set off. I beat him to it, guaranteed. Seeing the mixing board jogged my memory. You were there too, Air Forehead. What is it with today? Problem after problem. Tongue! My hog won't start. My guitar case is busted. My guitar's been burnt to a crisp, and to top it all off, someone's dead. And then there was that performance just now. What was that all about? This part is off. Which is that, Second guitar? It was you, Darian. I thought it was strange at the time. How could you miss such a simple cue? I know you. I know how you play. You're better than that. Yeah? Well, You what? And Prosecutor Gavin, what are you getting at? I'm talking about the murder weapon, Mr. Latouche's .45 caliber hand cannon. As we've learned, even the shooter doesn't go unscarred with a revolver that size. Really? Okay, I thought that was him activating the firecracker, but they're just saying he hurt himself with the revolver. The kickback is enough to dislocate your shoulder if you're an amateur. Wait. You mean his playing was affected because he hurt himself shooting that revolver? Ha! You're forgetting something. Yes, Detective Crescend. I'm a trained police officer, you know? I have firearms training, plenty of it. I'm no amateur. The standard sidearm issued to police officers is a .38 caliber weapon. A much tamer beast. Also, the murder weapon belonged to the victim, Mr. Latouche, which suggests that there was a struggle between the killer and the victim. So the killer might not have been holding the revolver correctly when he fired. Is that what you mean? The thought had occurred to me, yes. Well, does the witness have anything to say about all this? Detective Crescend! What I want to ask is what Mr. Sleeves rolled up ready for action has to say. Hey! You. Attorney. Me? Exactly which piece of your evidence is decisive again? You got a little noise on a tape that could be anything. And you have an alleged guitar cue missed due to a .45 caliber kickback? I weep for this case, Gavin. I really do. You can line up your little weak pieces of evidence all you want. I didn't shoot that manager. And that's the obvious truth. That's a great line, by the way. I weep for this case. The victim has a point. The defense's arguments, while persuasive, are not decisive. I believe we should hear what the witness has to say in response to the case so far. Your testimony, please, Detective Crescent. Tell us your reasoning, why you couldn't have done it. Proof of innocence. Come on! Why would I even want to kill that manager? You want a reason? Easy. I got no motive, man. This was the diva's first trip to the country, right? How could I possibly know her manager? If I didn't know him, why would I want to kill him? A simple reason indeed. Prosecutor Gavin, is it the case that Mr. Latouche had not been to your country before? According to the records, yes. Not even once. I see. Very well. Mr. Justice, you may begin the cross-examination. Great. Now I need to find a motive. Oh, come on! Why would I even want to kill the manager? Hold it! Her manager, sure, but Mr. Latouche was... Oh, right. Sorry. An Interpol agent, wasn't he? I just have trouble picturing that big lunk as an undercover cop, you dig? And not a very good one, seeing as how he got wasted. Oh no, wait! Oh, fuck! Oh god, that was such a good laugh cue, too. Why did I send myself into a coughing fit? What the fuck is that? Failed cue. Take two. That's cold, dog. Wait, what? Wait, no. Apollo, what? Not that it matters either way. See, I had no reason to kill the man, whatever he was. You want a reason? Easy. I got no motive, man. But that's the same for Maki. No motive was proven for him. Come on, he traveled around the world with that old fart. He had plenty of time to come up with a motive of his own. More than I did. I mean, think about it. This was that diva's first trip to the country, right? Darian, you're a detective with international affairs. Yeah? What of it? Even if this was Mr. Latouche's first trip to the country, you still could have met him prior to the concert. Huh? Or don't you take any international trips in international affairs? That's right. Well, Detective Crescent? That's your game, is it? Guess I'd better confess then. Confess? Yeah, it's a bit of an embarrassment, but I've never been overseas. What? But you're an international... See, me and Plains got a difference of opinion. We don't like each other much. My condolences, Air Forehead, but he's telling the truth. He's never set foot outside the country. I can guarantee it. As it turns out, my division has plenty of work to do locally as well. That's so unfair. How could I possibly know her manager? Hold it! So you didn't fraternize with him at all during the concert? Fraternize? I don't think we exchanged a single word. As if anyone would want to talk to that old Eastern blockhead. Now the ladies, that's a different matter altogether. So you see, If I didn't know him, why would I want to kill him? You sure about that? What? What? Wipe that look off your face before I do it for you. Listen, you try throwing out one of your wild accusations, I'll throw it back at you so hard you forget who you're accusing of what. Their forehead. Perhaps it's best if you let your evidence do the talking, yeah? Man, what evidence? That's what I want to know. This is very well written. I gotta say, Darian might be the best written part of this entire case. Man, what evidence? That's what I want to know. So he's using this motive question as ammunition, huh? I've got ammunition too. Evidence. Okay, let's see. If I didn't know him, why would I want to kill him? I really like the way Darian is written. Let's see. Why would I want to kill him? Let's try this. Objection! Nice. Your Honor, take a look at this. What is that? Oh, it looks like candy. It's not. Don't lick it, please. Detective Crescend, ever seen this? Looks like a piece of candy. What it is evidence. Don't lick it before you try it. Don't lick it before you try it? Wouldn't it be don't try it before you buy it? Okay. Specifically, this is a replica of a cocoon. It was found among the victim's belongings. A cocoon? I've never seen one that color. It's a variety only found in the Republic of Borginia. Nowhere else. All right, but what is this cocoon replica doing in my courtroom? Surely this has nothing to do with a motive for killing Mr. Latouche, does it? It does. Wait, I think it does. You don't sound so confident, man. A cocoon? Is it one of those silky cocoons? The kind that you can make, silk out of? Not this one. This cocoon makes a powerful curative. A curative? For what? Apparently, it's most efficacious at treating a disease thought incurable. It's the only medicine of its kind. However, it is illegal to take one of these healing cocoons out of Borginia. Whatever for? If it's such a miracle cure, why not share it with the world?
Yeah, that's what I've been wondering.
We looked into the matter at some length. Apparently, it isn't difficult at all to manufacture the remedy from the cocoon. Yet if you change the process only slightly, you can easily make a large quantity of something else entirely. A deadly poison, in fact.
But what?
There was an incident several years ago where some of these got onto the black market. It caused quite the commotion in the global community, though the media was kept largely unaware. Intriguing. All this has led to a strict ban on the cocoon's export. One rigidly enforced by Interpol, among others. Interpol. There's that anime writing again. Interpol, ... Right. The victim, Romain Latouche, was an Interpol agent. Detective Crescend, you insist on referring to him as a manager. But that is misleading. Romain Latouche wasn't killed as a manager. He was killed as an undercover agent. So I was trying to smuggle this gumball into the country? That what you're trying to say? I'm saying that could well be a motive for murder. Oh, so I was gonna sell it on the black market, make myself a pretty penny? Ridiculous. I mean, totally unthinkable. Unthinkable, you say? Why? Perhaps it's time for another testimony. About this smuggling of cocoons business. International Affairs got a memo about these cocoons. Interpol's all hot and bothered about them. Can't sell them on the black market, too dangerous. Yeah, cocoon smuggling ain't exactly lucrative anymore. Man, I'm in international affairs. I know the deal. Indeed. Interpol wanted these cocoons bad enough to send Mr. Latouche undercover. You kids think up the craziest things. But no way am I gonna risk life and limb. Just to get my hands on some dirty cocoon money? Not the most noble of statements, but duly noted. According to the reports, these cocoons top Interpol's list. Selling them to an underground organization would be risky. Huh. Very well, you may begin the cross-examination. This is the only motive I've got. He was up to something, and I'm gonna find out what. And we're gonna find out as soon as we come back from an ad, because we're coming really close, and I want to make sure that we can get through the end of the cross-examination. So I will see you guys in just a few minutes. I'm gonna reheat some water, okay? Be right back. Be right back. Good time for you to stretch your legs, hit the restroom, refill your water if you need to, and I'll see you in a sec. Okay, sorry about that. Thanks for waiting. I gotta send a really quick message actually, and then we can jump back in. Oh, and okay. Cocoon smuggling. International Affairs got a memo about these cocoons. All right, so we already did this, right? Too dangerous. Cocoon smuggling ain't exactly lucrative anymore. Do we have a report on the cocoons, by the way? Article about the Chief Justice's son who is inflicted with incuritis. Right. Well, let's just play through it.
Hold it!
Oh no! Wait! Fuck! Thank you, Von Ziel. How did no one else called this out for the whole fucking read? Hold on, let's go back. I'm playing to an empty house here. All right, let's try this again. Back to the top. International Affairs got a memo about these cocoons.
Hold it!
Oh, that memo! That's how you knew about the cocoons! Oh, nice one. Yeah, nice one. I'm running scared now. You had to know about the cocoons to plan this. Just how well known are these cocoons? And yeah, sorry, if you thought the break was taking forever, I had started without realizing I was muted. We're back. Just how well known are these cocoons? I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I'd never heard of them. Well, Lamrar knew about them, though not their use. My reports indicate that there are ongoing efforts to control information about the cocoons. Most people only know they're illegal to export, that's all. Then I've nothing to be embarrassed about after all. You could say people like me who know about them are a minority, yeah. But that includes everyone in international affairs, man. And everyone at Interpol, too, for that matter. Interpol's all hot and bothered about them.
Hold it!
So there are other Interpol agents like Mr. Latouche? All over the world, likely. Deep undercover, most of them. That's why these cocoons are too hot for the black market. You don't want Interpol sniffing through your wares. Most came to the conclusion that can't sell them on the black market. It's too dangerous.
Hold it!
Dangerous? Yeah. Interpol finds you, they arrest you on the spot. Or another marketer, or another marketeer might think you're part of a sting and take you out himself. Times have changed. Yeah, cocoon smuggling ain't exactly lucrative anymore.
Hold it!
But wouldn't scarcity drive up the prices? Yeah, and attention. Every gangster and his brother would want a piece of that action. They'd turn your forehead into Swiss cheese before you could say objection. Maybe we could get them to cut his hair too. There's on trial here again? Man, you so obviously know nothing about that market. That's a bad thing? Don't even try to mess with me about this stuff. Man, I'm in international affairs. I know the deal.
Hold it!
Which is why you'd know how to find a loophole in the system. Hey, you can say what you want about me, but back off of international affairs. There ain't no loopholes, okay? What do you think we are, Boy Scouts? That wasn't what I was trying to... Down, Darien. It's as you say. There are no loopholes, at least in the case of these cocoons. International Affairs, Interpol, and Virginian Customs are all watching. See, we know what we're doing. Not like some yipping little doggies that lap up every word that diva says. Why I oughta? Oughta what? You want some of this? Chill. Both of you. Let's do this cool, yeah? Oh, screw cool. I want this guy's head on a stick. The replica has to be the key to his motive. There's gotta be a way to find out what he was up to. Okay. So we gotta go for evidence. I feel like I need to present the article about the incuritis. I want to say it's got to be this. Hey, Mitchell. Hey, Claria, by the way. And I'm willing to bet it's got to be this, right?
Objection!
Nice. Why not choose a less dangerous buyer then? I would. How clueless are you? Everyone in the market is dangerous. The second they found out I was a cop, I could kiss my keister goodbye. Why sell to a black market buyer? How about someone like this? That article, that's about the Chief Justice's. A deadly poison can be extracted from the cocoon, but so can a cure. And not a cure for just any disease. A cure for incuritis. Incuritis? I've heard of that somewhere. You went to visit a victim of the disease this morning! Oh, why, that's the disease the Chief Justice's son has. Well, you aren't saying. Our witness is a detective. He would have contact with the Chief Justice. You are saying. The Chief Justice would never deal in contraband. Not even to save his own son's life. But even if the deal went through, why, it'd be an international scandal. That's Detective Crescen's insurance. If word ever got out, the one whose neck would be on the line would be the Chief Justice. Detective Crescend, is this true? First, I'm a murderer. Now I'm a smuggler. How many crimes you trying to pin on me anyway? Distasteful as it is to think about it, if the Chief Justice were the buyer, why, a seller couldn't hope for a better deal. A very cowardly seller. Don't let sleeves over there trick you. So I made a deal with the Chief Justice. Where's your proof? Well... Oh yeah. You're forgetting one other important thing. Do tell. Interpol isn't the only ones out there watching this. Virginian Customs barely sleep. They're so worried about cocoons getting out. Yeah, so we were informed. Well, let's continue with the cross-examination. What do you mean, let's just continue? Okay. Virginian Customs is very thorough. Everything and everyone gets checked. Just how strict is this customs check? Way strict. They keep planes on the ground for hours. I do recall it being a bit extreme. They were even confiscating gumdrops and marshmallows. Yes, it would be hard to distinguish them. That's right. Gavin was in Virginia, wasn't he? I remember setting off the metal detector several times. I had to practically strip naked to walk through. Here's a travel tip for you, Gavin. Leave the bling at home, you glimmering fop. Cocoon possession will get you arrested on the spot and then sentenced to death.
Hold it!
That's pretty extreme. Virginia has this rep as an idyllic, laid-back place. Truth is, they're beyond hardcore with security. The Republic of Virginia is a peaceful, pleasant country. So this level of security shows us how truly concerned they are about these cocoons. That's the situation. Hey man, if there's a way to get cocoons out of there, I'd sure like to know.
Hold it!
You're in a position to know quite a bit about smuggling. Yeah? I need to know a bit for work, sure. But all we got are reports on the failed smuggling ops. Not exactly something you want to go copying. But if you want, I can tell you a few of them. Maybe you'll succeed and get rich. I would be interested in hearing, purely from a legal perspective, of course. I weep for our judicial system. Don't use the same line twice. We already wept for something today. Don't reuse it. It gets old. The replica has to be the key to his motive. Okay. Interesting. If there's a way to get cocoons out of there, I'd sure like to know. I can think of one way. And it was in Gavin's guitar, and I guarantee that's why they set his guitar on fire, was to destroy the evidence and get rid of the cocoon. I bet it was the guitar.
Objection!
Oh, fuck yes. Actually, there is one way. Oh, what? One way to get something out of the country, no checks. What is it? You become a prosecutor. A prosecutor? I don't believe it. Believe it, Prosecutor Gavin. What was in that you told me yesterday at your office? Or sorry, what was it that you told me at your office yesterday? It was a beautiful instrument. It played lovingly for many years. A guitar befitting a woman like Lamoureux.
How did it end up here?
I mentioned how much I enjoyed playing it that night, and she made a present of it.
So this guitar is from Virginia?
That it is. We couldn't carry it on the plane. Changes in air pressure and humidity ruin the wood. So we vacuum packed it in Lamoureux's studio. I used a special shipping service available to me for transporting evidence. They brought it right up to my office for me. Pristine and untouched. Did I get that right, Prosecutor Gavin? Untouched? Quite. The guitar was wrapped in several sheets and vacuum packed in Virginia. The pack was untouched until the day of the concert. Are you saying that guitar was... With cocoons this small, it would have been very easy to use your guitar as a mule to smuggle a cocoon out of Virginia. What? Which reminds me, Prosecutor Gavin, that guitar had some work done on it recently, right? Work? Good memory, Air Forehead. Well, you know how guitars have a round hole in the front? It's called the sound hole. They found something attached to the wood just inside the hole. A broken device of some sort.
Broken device?
Yes. This, in fact.
An igniter?
Exactly. Consider this, if you will. What if that igniter wasn't the only thing that was attached inside your guitar?
You mean...
He means this, of course. There was a way to get a cocoon out of the country. They could use picky prosecutor Gavin's privileged guitar as a mule. And who better to do that than someone with access? Like a member of the band! Yeah! Order! 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 So the igniter was placed in there for a clear reason, it seems. It was a safety precaution. A precaution? Oh, air forehead. At last it all comes together. Every strange thing that happened that day. Care to review? Maestro! The gentle sounds of Lamarar's ballad, if you will. First, my keys were stolen. A harmless misdemeanor. Which forced me to break the lock on my guitar case. The key was stolen to retrieve the cocoon from the guitar. I see. But things didn't go so well. The smuggler wasn't counting on the guitar being wrapped. Only a member of the band could get near that case. Unwrapping the guitar would raise too many suspicions. Then the concert began. Right about this time, a very large problem presented itself to the smuggler. What's that? Mr. Latouche. Oh! Mr. Latouche, an undercover agent, was onto something. He would have to know about the guitar. He'd only have to check the shipping records. So, Mr. Latouche tried to examine the guitar himself. If the cocoon were confiscated, then the gig would be up. The only thing left for the smuggler to do was to get rid of the whole lot. It's over. Press the switch. The guitar burst into flames, and the cocoon was lost. Wait, how did he get the device in there if it was wrapped then? So sometime between Latouche inspecting it and Gavin picking it back up, Darian must have rushed by and quickly slapped the device inside the guitar. That is insane. And then Mr. Latouche died. With Lamarar there to witness it. The work that was done, he was a play on words. He was kind of alluding to the incendiary device being put in. So that means that the guitar came in wrapped. Mr. Latouche unwrapped it to inspect it. Darian must have found his way to it and quickly slapped the device in at some point. That's insane. But wait. It would have had to have been before Latouche inspected it. Man, the timeline on this case is so fishy. Oh. You think that the device, that could make sense as a security protocol? Yeah, I guess that does make sense, Dan. So yeah, it must have been packed with the incendiary device. That is wild. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Who did that then? Was it Tobai? Probably, right? It had to have been Tobai working in cahoots with Darian. Maybe under duress, but still, Darian had to have an accomplice, hence the press the switch now. And then, Mr. Latouche died, with Lamarar there to witness it. There's your case. Oh, brilliant, man. Detective Crescend? I gotta know. You make all that up on the fly. For a made-up story, it makes a great deal of sense, Darian. The Republic of Virginia? Sorry, man. I haven't even been there. True, you haven't. Ha! Let's see you make up a story for that, kid. How'd I hide the cocoon in the first place, huh? It's not so hard to imagine. You had help. A Virginia accomplice. That's all. That you had an accomplice was clear from the start. The voice Lamarar heard proves it. It's over. Press the switch now! You made the transmission from backstage, while your co-conspirator was on stage. But who was it? This is it. The coup de grace. And for once, I know what I'm doing. There's only one person who could have helped him. Let's hear what Mr. Justice has to say then. But be warned, with a great accusation comes great responsibility? Okay. Make up your answer on the fly, as it were, and you'll be harshly penalized. Are you ready, Mr. Justice? Who is the smuggler's accomplice? It's gotta be my boy. I'm sorry, I didn't get him off the hook of everything. He's still going to jail.
Take that!
There's only one person who meets all the requirements of the accomplice. And that person is the defendant, Maki Tobai. But, Mr. Justice, that's your client! A defense attorney accusing his client! That's a new one! I assure you, no one is more unhappy about this than I. But I'm here to defend him in the murder of Mr. Latouche. And I stand by my statement earlier that he is innocent of that particular crime. Indeed, the defendant is Virginian. He does meet the basic requirements to be an accomplice. Doesn't that mean he's going back to Virginia to be put to death? I am sentencing a child. But what if it was, in fact, Lamarar? It couldn't have been. Well, you seem sure of yourself. The reason is electronic signals, Your Honor. Electronic signals? Recall that this remote only works to a range of 30 feet. Beyond that, it's useless. Yes, that's true. Now, think back to the testimony. Oh my God, I get it. I get it. So, if Darian is backstage, under the stage, we looked at this. Check this out. This is actually brilliant. I love this. If Darian is backstage, under the stage, okay? The radio has a 30-foot range, which is just enough to get to the stage. And when the platform is raised up here, it's out of range. But the platform is 30 feet, within 30 feet range of the piano where Maki sits, which means Darian couldn't have been talking to Lamarar because he would have been out of range. And Darian couldn't have triggered it himself because he would have been out of range. The only people that could have triggered it was Lamarar or Maki. And it couldn't be Lamarar because she couldn't hear Darian downstairs. So the only person that could have received the order to do it was Maki. And the only person, therefore, that could have triggered the detonation was Maki. Lamarar couldn't have done it because she wouldn't have heard him. She's out of range. That's a great setup. I like that. Think back to the testimony. When the shooter made his transmission, Lamarar was in the air vent. Never mind, everything I said was wrong. Never mind, I'm wrong. Fuck!
You're up. I rolled a one. I rolled a one. Fuck.
Listen, my idea was brilliant. Fuck this case, man.
Well, look at you. You suck.
Fuck this case. Right, because the person on stage was Valent Grimarier. Oh well. Because she's the one at the end, not the one at the beginning, apparently. Anyway. When the shooter made his transmission, Lamarar was in the air vent, right above the dressing room where the shooter stood. Let's look at the stage diagram. This is the area that the remote could reach from the air vent. Looking at this, it seems that Lamarar could still have done the deed. No. When the shooter made that transmission, the stage was slightly different from shown here. It was in the middle of the guitar serenade. Part of the stage was raised. Prosecutor Gavin and Lamarar stand-in were in the air. They were on a tower which happens to be 15 feet tall. In other words, the remote couldn't have worked from Lamarar's position in the air vent. Unless she crawled back really quickly and pressed the button, but never mind. We won't worry about that. Because they're demonstrating right now that it has the height to reach it. Oh! Well, Detective Crescend, what do you say to that? Your Honor? Yes, Detective? Could we see the video where Gavin's guitar burns? Just one more time. Well, I don't see why not. What? Don't tell me he has some way out of this. There it is. That's the ignite. We just saw the ignite happen. Oh, too bad. So sad. Punk. Punk? First you were sleeves, then kid, now punk. You're losing rank fast, Apollo. What exactly were we supposed to see in this video? The problem isn't in what we see, correct, Darian? Right. It's what you hear. We're musicians, after all. Care to explain for us non-musicians? Sure thing, punk. Let me get your yarn straight first. You're saying I ordered the pianist to set off that igniter? That right? Yes? Well, in order to do that, he'd have to press a switch. Am I right? Okay. We'll take another listen. Pay attention to the piano. Piano? So? What seems to be the problem there? The piano sounded just fine. And that's the problem. Man, you still don't get it. Oh. Yeah. How's he supposed to hit that switch if he's playing? You got Miss Diva, the guitar, the bass, the piano, and the drums. The only one with her hands free was the diva. But according to you, she couldn't have been the accomplice, could she? I'd like to point out, none of this changes Darian's guilt as the murderer. And yet, by the rules of the game, if somehow Lamarar is the accomplice instead of Maki, Maki will be found guilty for murder? Your accomplice would have had a hard time helping out if they couldn't even press a switch. Why are we watching this again? Piano plays non-stop. He couldn't have pressed that switch. To be fair, hang on a second. Okay, it's not that complicated a piano part, but I guess we can make this argument. He couldn't have pressed that switch. Well, Mr. Justice, the piano does seem to be playing when the guitar catches fire. Oh, well, it's okay. We all make mistakes sometimes.
Apollo, were you wrong?
I can't be wrong. Everything makes perfect sense.
How could it all just...
Strange. What's strange? No, it's just... something's odd about the performance there. Odd? Mr. Justice, if Maki Tabai didn't press that switch, then he could not be the accomplice you claim he is. But everything points to it. Every fact says that there's an accomplice. You got the facts wrong, man. Here are some facts for you. Gavin's guitar is on fire, but the pianist didn't press the switch. In other words, your story is full of holes. Mr. Justice, let's hear your final opinion on this matter now. Was the defendant Maki Tabai the accomplice? Your answer will reflect on everything you've said here. Huh? I was not expecting to be 3 hours in and still finishing this case. This is a long case! Why is Serenade still a long fucking case? Your answer will reflect on everything you've said here. Give it some thought.
Apollo, if Maki's not the accomplice, then our whole case is ruined. It really...
I know that, but it has to be him. He was the only one who could have helped the smuggler. He had to have pressed the switch.
You'd better find a way to prove it.
Ugh. What do I do? What do I do?
There has to be something that doesn't fit. Something odd.
Something odd. Wait a second.
What, you thought of something?
What was Gavin saying just now? Strange. What's strange? No, it's just... something's odd about the performance there.
not much to go on, but it's all I've got. Something's odd about the performance. Well, actually, it gets really simple in the middle. That's a really simple shift there. Okay, we're good. It's not much to go on, but it's all I've got. What exactly did he hear that was odd? What are we looking for? It's gonna point it out. The piano playing gets really simple in the middle, so he probably takes one hand off the piano. So he's playing only with one hand for a few seconds there. Have you come up with something, Mr. Justice? May I remind you that everything rests on this. Can you prove Maki Tabai pressed the switch? Let's hear your final answer. Can you prove that Maki Tabai pressed that switch? You just said that. I can prove it. I don't know if you call this proof per se, but I can prove it was possible. Then as prosecutor, it falls to me to ask you to show us evidence supporting this. Air Forehead, you sure about this? Ha! Accept it! There's no evidence, man! Let's see your evidence, Mr. Justice. On what do you base your claim that the defendant pressed that switch? God, I hope this works. Take that! The basis for my claim is music, Your Honor. Music? What about music? Let's listen to the piano part around the time when the switch was to be pressed. Right before the guitar burst into flame. Well, I heard a piano being played. But, doesn't it sound kind of simple? Simple? I think I know what he's suggesting. You think Maki could have played that part with one hand? One hand? He only needed one hand to press that switch. He could play the piano with the other. Ha! What? So you're some kind of piano savant? Actually, no. Then what do you know? You can't play a part like that with one hand. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about here. Wait, I know. Hey, Trucy. Yeah? You got something? Mr. Wright, your father, he's a pianist. Could he... Oh, Daddy? He couldn't play a part like that even if he had three hands. So sorry. So sad for you. No, not really. Huh? That was just the easy way to prove it. There's always the hard way. Man, how are you gonna prove whether he played it with one hand or two? You can't! I admit it'll be rather difficult to prove, but it's highly likely he was playing with one hand. How do you know that?
The clue is that Prosecutor Gavin described as sounding odd. What sounded odd? I'll bet we can tell by listening to a certain part of the song. No. No way. Well, it seems we've come to the moment of truth at last. Let's hear what Mr. Justice has to say for himself. Show us the part that proves the defendant was playing with one hand. Right before the guitar burst into flame. Maki was definitely playing one-handed just before the guitar caught fire. And one section of the song proves it. God, I hope this works. Oh, thank God. No, we can't. We can't save. Oh, great. Okay. This is totally different. I think it's 3. The notches are different. It's the end of 3, right? Right here. God, I hope this works.
Take that!
That's the section? I'm afraid I don't hear it. What's your opinion as an artist, Prosecutor Gavin? It's a beautiful song, and the lyrics are outstanding. I'll take that to mean there isn't a problem with this section at all. Wait, so what was the odd thing Gavin heard? The switch was pressed in the first half of the second verse, right? I know, I just need to find a place to compare to that. Your Honor, if you'll give me one more chance, I think I can find it. I suppose we don't have a choice. Very well. You claim the defendant was playing with one hand when the switch was pressed. Show us the part that proves it. For fuck's sake, okay. God, this case! I forgot. Not that one. Wait. Am I not submitting the section of the song? No, it's exactly what I submitted. It was this section. Oh my God, but I had the wrong instrument selected. Fuck you, game. That's the section? I'm afraid I don't hear it. What's your opinion as an artist, Prosecutor Gavin? Fuck you! Wait! I am so confused right now. Hang on. Wait, what the fuck?
Okay, it's not that part. I mean, it could be, but like, it could be the chords at the end here. Here. This. That's one hand. But the part that I thought it was is right here. Because that's what I was locking into the whole time, was that he just like hits two notes. You can play two notes back to back with one hand. Right here. That is one-handed playing. I guess we can try the other one in case they mean the chords?
Take that!
That's the section. I'm afraid I don't hear it. What's your opinion as an artist, Prosecutor Gavin? No. I'm so confused. Malky definitely was playing one-handed just before the guitar caught fire, and one section of the song proves it. What? Okay. I can think of one reason why it's not working. Did I need to pause the song? Is that what I needed to do? Was the fact that I left the song playing? Sample the other channels? Okay, the only thing I can think of is that I needed to pause. And I swear to God, if the fact that the right track and the right section are lit up and the reason it told me I'm wrong is because I didn't hit the pause button, I'm gonna vomit.
Take that!
That's the section? I'm afraid I don't hear it. What's your opinion as an artist, Prosecutor Gavin? The first half of the second verse, right? I just need to find a place to compare to that. All right. I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care. Turnabout Serenade. Maki, one-handed, what the fuck? I don't fucking care. It might be the first part. Let's hear it. You don't think that would be this part?
No! 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 I've got to tell you something. What does the judge say? And what does Gavin say when I present the fucked up part? What do they say? The judge says, I don't hear anything wrong with this. Gavin says, it sounds beautiful. Do those sound like things you say when someone presents the fucked up part of a section of a song? I'm about to go drink. I don't like this case. This might be the first time I've genuinely been desperate for a case to end. I'm done with this case. I hope you guys are enjoying the performance. From a game standpoint, fuck this case. Prosecutor Gavin, I'm sure you've realized by now just what it was that sounded odd to you. As I'm sure you've realized yourself, Fair Forehead. Realized what? Here's the thing. Section 1 isn't even, anyway. Realized what? It isn't even identical, because if you listen for the bass hand, it's not the same as the single notes he plays in the start of the second verse. Anyway. Realized what? I'll demonstrate. Let's listen to the part in question again, shall we? Pay particular attention to "but a fleeting melody" phrase. Yep. Man! How many times we gotta listen to the same thing? You're right. Enough of that. Let's listen to another section, shall we? Another section? The guitar burst into flame at the end of the second verse. Let's listen to the same spot in the first verse. Pay attention to "Oh That Night in Your Embrace." Play verse 2 again. Oh, no. God damn it. There. Did you hear that? They feel the same, true. But they're clearly very different. What? Well put, Your Honor. The phrase in verse 2 is quite simple, but the same phrase in verse 1 has high and low notes. You'd have to use 2 hands to play that for sure. What does that prove? I'd think you'd know that by now. This is why I hate dealing with amateurs, man. So the 2 verses had different instruments. Happens all the time. Not this time, Darian. There's no point in changing an arrangement if you can't hear it clearly. And that wasn't the point. I had him play specifically so that the piano would stay in the background. Oh. That was what I noticed. Why should the same phrase sound slightly different, I asked myself. Now ask yourselves why Maki changed how he played, and there's only one answer. He needed a free hand in order to press the switch. No! Order! 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 I believe this ties all the facts together. Well, Prosecutor Gavin? Yes, quite. Though personally, this comes as a terrible disappointment. What, no comeback? I can't believe it. I finally did it. I shut him up. Very well. Barring an objection from the prosecution, I will now state the court's opinion on this matter. Oh, good show, Sleeves. Great show. It's not over. I don't like it when he looks so happy. You tell him, Gavin. Tell him what's so disappointing. Personally, I'm terribly disappointed. In you, Air Forehead. Huh? Me? Yes. Don't get me wrong, your case is solid. The facts all check out, but even now, you have yet to show us a single piece of decisive evidence. Yeah, but the facts, anyone can see it was him. Unfortunately, anyone does not include the law. I'm afraid your case doesn't cut it. But 1,000 facts might point toward the same conclusion. But without decisive evidence, it's not proof. That's the rule under our current legal system. I don't believe it. It does not seem as though the defense has any more evidence to present. Oh, I think if he did, we'd already have seen it a long ways back. It is unfortunate, but at present, this court is unable to acknowledge your accusation. What? The truth is staring us all right in the face. Why can't they see it? What's the point of a legal system that protects criminals? Apollo, remember what Daddy said? It won't be easy proving he did it. Especially not under the current court system. So what do I do? Like I said, good luck. And be aware that it'll be impossible to prove his guilt by conventional methods. Every man has an igniter inside him. Find Darian Crescen's igniter and set it off. I wonder what he meant by every man's igniter. I think he just meant weak spot, no? The kind of thing that a single spark could turn into a wildfire of emotion. I won't be able to press him further by conventional means. I've got to find a weak spot in the sky. Something fatal. So can I get back to work now or what? It may look like I got a lot of time on my hands, but I got no more time to play pretend with this deadweight attorney. Mr. Justice? We've come this far without decisive evidence. This witness won't be coming back to the stand once we let him go. Every man has an igniter. Huh? Didn't you say the better the guitar, the brighter it burns, Prosecutor Gavin? Yes. The good guitars are kept dry, is why. And that provides the best sound. Even a small spark could cause irreparable damage. Your plan has an igniter in it too, Detective. It was there from the start, from the very beginning.
What?
Fighting time, Justice. If you blow this one, he'll be out on your hands. He'll be out of your hands for good. I gotta save. Go for it, Apollo. What, and this igniter is supposed to come burn me up? That's almost poetic there, Mr. Attorney. All the better, I'm rather fond of the poetry. And I intend to hear this one through to the very end. Her forehead. You are accusing this man, Darian Crescend, of 2 crimes. The murder of Mr. Latouche, and the smuggling of a Borginian cocoon. This is your last chance to prove your case. This trial has already run on for far too long. Multiple months, many, many months. Mr. Justice, this will be my last warning. The moment this igniter of yours turns out to be a dud is the moment this cross-examination ends. Understood? Yes, Your Honor. Then let's have it. Show us the basis for these accusations against Darian Crescent. Okay. This is really my last chance. The key that will take apart Darian Crescent's plan is... Oh, you have got to be kidding me. Wait, what? I think I want to say call a witness, but let's look first. I feel like I want to call Lamarar to the stand. And the reason I think I want to call Lamarar to the okay, one of 2 things. I kind of want to call a witness. And then the witnesses I can potentially call are either Maki or Lamarar, right? And the reason you could call Maki, theoretically, would be... What's up, Maya? The reason you can call Maki, theoretically, would be to have him testify that he was pressured to do all these things by Darian, and essentially finger Darian. Except, Maki's the defendant. So there's like no reasonable reason to trust the defendant over a detective. So that doesn't really work, right? On the other hand, the reason you might call Lamarar, maybe, is because we're looking for an igniter. And if something Lamarar said was enough that the killer tried to assault her the next day, that sounds like igniting him. That sounds like doing something to set him off, right? That literally represents the igniter that drove him to try to commit a second murder. Whatever she was trying to say. Do we have the switch as evidence? We have a switch. Found on stage. Triggers within 30 feet. We do.
light his ass on fire. Awesome. Ugh. The actual igniter. So what does that tell us? We found one igniter. Okay, well here's a thought then. I can follow you down that road. The reason I would potentially present evidence is the fact that we only have one remote trigger, right? And if Maki ignited the guitar, who ignited the firecrackers? And where is that remote? Have we found the second remote? That's the only other thing I can think of, right? But like, God, would that be the piece? We need decisive evidence. We need decisive evidence. Well, we can put it to a vote. My gut instinct is to call a witness, and to either call Maki or to call Lamarar. And my fear with calling Maki is that, like, realistically speaking, Maki, the court would never take the defendant's side over a detective. From a meta standpoint, I think you'd have to bring a person because it never gives you a choice like this. That's another thing worth thinking about, because usually in this game when they give you a choice, it'll be like, they definitely did it. They definitely didn't do it. Something else. And it's whenever they give you that option, you're like, oh, it has to be that. Like it has to be something else. Ugh. Okay, let's do this. Let's see what will take apart Darian Krishan's plan is. Can I let me lay out my thoughts one more time, and let me get your opinion, okay? And I'm gonna take a quick bite of the food that's been getting cold on the table next to me, and then I'll do it. Okay. So, if we've had this piece of evidence in our bag the whole time, we've already presented every possible piece of evidence, and they're like, you don't have evidence anymore. And they just told us the only way we're gonna beat Darian is through unconventional methods. And usually every case ends with some final piece of decisive evidence, and then they lose their mind, right? So unconventional would imply presenting evidence is not the answer. Unconventional would be a witness. And that leaves Maki and Lamarar. Lamarar seems like the symbolic igniter, because we know that somehow Lamarar knows enough. Right. He's pissing on her the whole time, calling her a diva, getting annoyed by her, yelling about her. You know, he's so pissed off by her. Something she knows was enough to drive him to try to murder her and go back in there, potentially incriminate himself again by going for a second murder. So symbolically, she's very much someone that triggers him. But is that unconventional? And Maki, on the other hand, could testify against him. and could say, I'm working with him. Yeah, no, it's him. It's him. But there's no way, logically speaking, there is no way that the court would ever take the defendant's word, the person accused of the murder, over a detective for their own fucking police department. But that's the least conventional option because it makes the least sense. Aside from like the wholly irrelevant. What do you guys think? It would be the least conventional to have the defendant go up against the police detective in the defendant's own trial. I'm gonna try Maki and just see what happens. Oh, hi everybody. Hey, welcome. Damien, what the heck, dude? Hi, my name is Melisande. I am also, otherwise known as Melly Grant. I'm also a fellow voice actor and friend of Damien's. We're playing Apollo Justice, light performance stream. Campy, anime as fuck. We're just having fun and goofing off. If you're taking off for the rest of your night, I hope you have a great time. Go eat something delicious. Go get some rest. If you decide to stick around, I hope you have fun. We are at the very end of Turnabout Serenade, so spoilers for Turnabout Serenade. I'm gonna go for Maki. But yeah, Damien, I hope you had a great stream, and thank you so much for the raid. That's super kind and generous of you. The favor returned raid. I love this little game of tag we have going on. You're very sweet, thank you. Your igniter isn't a piece of evidence. Huh? So what is? It is true that I couldn't show decisive evidence. But perhaps what I needed to prove my case was something else. You mean a witness? Proving his guilt is a tall order. But I've got just the person to do it. Very well, Mr. Justice. Who is this person who can prove Darian Crescen's guilt? There is no way a court is ever gonna take this, dude. Oh yeah, we're just gonna have the defendant say it wasn't me. Totally a normal thing to have happen in court. I mean, let's find out.
Take that!
The one person who can prove Darian Crescen's guilt is the defendant, Maki Tobai. Your client? Again? Maki Tobai was an accomplice of the cocoon smuggling plot. 2. It's a 2. Maki Tobai was an accomplice to the cocoon smuggling plot. Without him, Darian Crescen could not have gotten the cocoon. Furthermore, he can easily prove that the one who plotted to smuggle that cocoon is the real criminal in this case. How so? It would require just one of the very cocoons Mr. Latouche was looking for. With the cooperation of the Republic of Virginia, we could burn a cocoon. The burnt cocoon would leave a particular residue. A residue we would no doubt also find inside the burnt-out guitar. Aha! Very scientific of you. Thus, if Maki Tobai acknowledges his agreement with Darian Crescent concerning the attempted smuggling of a Virginian cocoon, the case is solved. Darian's laughing again. Your unrelenting passion is remarkable. You really want to get me, don't you? Too bad you'll never be able to. Why not? The little key tickler won't acknowledge anything. Especially not anything to do with cocoon smuggling. What is this all about? Taking a cocoon out of the country means death. By Virginian law. Oh. Yeah. See? If our pianist really was a smuggler, then testifying about it would be suicide.
By the way, we have a whole bunch of brand new friends here. I'm so sorry for screaming that word. One of the first things you hear me say. I'm sorry, guys.
Believe me, he's not talking.
But you're wrong, detective.
What?
It's the other way around. If Maki doesn't admit to smuggling here, he's in deep trouble.
How?
Look, if Maki admits to smuggling here, then he'll be tried in our courts by our laws. You don't get the death penalty for smuggling in our country. The victim in this case was an undercover Interpol agent. I'm sure that news has already reached Virginia. And they'll likely broadcast our dealings in court today, including the part about the Virginian cocoon.
Yeah, but...
But if Maki doesn't admit to smuggling now, he'll eventually be picked up by the Virginian police. And it's not like he's in any danger in our court. We're not gonna find him guilty of murder here, not now.
Yeah, but you can't do this. You can't accuse me!
Maybe the law doesn't allow it. But who's gonna think you're really innocent after hearing this trial? The same goes for Maki Tabai. The cocoon smuggling, your entire plan? Maki Tabai knows everything. There's only one way out of it for him. And that's to acknowledge his own crime. The crime of cocoon smuggling! Don't worry there. I'll get you out of the country. I'll set you up someplace. A hidden mansion. Real nice. You want a house made out of cookies? Or no, a house made out of pianos. Come on. Please! Don't take! What is he saying? What word is he saying? Don't take! Oh, don't talk! Don't talk! There he is. Got it. Nailed it. Nailed it in one. Got it in the can. What is he saying? Darian? I consider that my last session with you. We rocked. I'm guessing we can treat that outburst as a confession? Uh-oh, he's laughing again. There's kind of a sick desperation in it now, though. Well, have you been listening to today's trial? Yes. Wait, what did he sound like? Yes. And you'll talk? You'll tell the court everything? I didn't want it to turn out this way. But I'm not the kind of lawyer that can overlook a crime. Today's trial was all for your benefit, you know. I see no reason why you should hesitate now. I knew. From beginning. I knew. Maki. Situation I cannot explain, but money.
I needed. Very much money.
Today's trial raises a delicate issue with our legal system. The only thing definite in the court of law is evidence. This is the golden rule. However, it has become apparent that not all things can be tried by this standard. Should another case of this sort surface, we may have to consider an alternate system by which to administer justice. Anyway, Mr. Maki Tobai. Yes. I promise you will receive a fair trial by the laws of our country. And with regards to the current charges for the murder of Mr. Latouche, this court is prepared to announce a verdict.
Oh, I thank you. I only lie. But you see truth. You find truth.
That is our job. Very well. This court finds the defendant, Maki Tobai.
Let's fucking go! Oh my god, we made it! It's been 3 months! Yes!
For our friends from Damien's community and anyone else that is stopping in for the first time, we have had a lot of different things come in. Big collab series. I got a writing contract. I write for anime when I'm not acting or doing this. So I got a big writing contract with a tight deadline. I had to go visit family for about 3 weeks. So we've been on this case for like 3 months. 3 months. It feels so good to see a verdict. Court is adjourned. July 10th, 4:42 p.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 2.
I wonder what'll happen to Maki.
Well, he did smuggle a cocoon out of Virginia. I guess there'll be another trial here. Whomst? It's gotta be Nick, right? It's gotta be Nick. All's well that ends well.
Daddy!
I owe both of you my thanks. Lamarar. Is something wrong? I'm sorry, Maki was your partner on stage, your friend. Yes. I thought of him as my own son. Even now I do. Yet something got a hold of him. Something evil. I see that. And he must pay for what he has done. Is that not how it should be? I'm still sorry. Do not be sorry. You've given me much courage. Much? You've given me courage. Courage? I am considering an eye operation. It was my suggestion, actually.
You mean you'll be able to see again?
It's funny. I've always been afraid of the light. Light seems so harsh, so unforgiving. According to the doctor, Lamarar lost her sight due to some kind of accident. An accident? As you know, I suffer from amnesia. I feared that if I could see, perhaps it would open my eyes to the truth I've been running from. I was scared. You know what changed her mind? Hearing your defense in there today. She could feel your gaze, unwavering, always looking straight at the truth. If the light returns to my eyes, I think I will take up painting. Painting?
That's right. She's the landscape painter in sound, after all.
I will paint the two of you. I promise.
Woohoo!
I can't wait, Lemurar.
I owe you my thanks too, Apollo.
Thanks, Mr. Wright, but for what?
You reminded me I need to hurry things along. On my secret mission, that is.
Right, your secret mission.
Apollo, Trucy, I hope that we will meet again someday soon.
You bet, me too.
And so, like a ballad, the trial flowed on and on, until it came to an end. Thanks to the trial, the guitar's serenade was a huge hit. Prosecutor Gavin's even more dazzling to look at now. But there's something I want to say to that guy. Next time you write a song,
Have them catch the killer in the end.
why are you in my head, Trucy? Oh my God. What a case. So we had the, let me get some music on. So we had the singer who pretended she couldn't speak and who was deaf, but who was not deaf, and who could speak, but who couldn't see. And the pianist who was blind, but not blind, and who couldn't speak English, but also could kind of speak English, but couldn't understand English, but then turned out to be able to understand English. The murder that goes according to the song lyrics, the Interpol agent, the cocoon smuggling ring for the purpose of poison and or cures for incurable diseases. They had reversed roles due to poor marketing strategy. Yeah, it was just for marketing. This was certainly one of the cases of all time. Oh my God. Incredible. Misfits, I don't know what to do at this point. Because, first off, thank you so much for sticking with me through that case. We've been on that for 3 months, and it feels so good to get to the end of it. I hope on some level, if nothing else, that listening to me play my way through it was satisfying, even if the case was confusing as hell. I'm very, very glad we got to the end. But I had fun performing it. I had less fun actually playing it. Gosh, Mrs., I don't know what to do now, because we were supposed to jump straight into Turnabout Succession, but it is now 10 p.m. Oh, heck, girl name, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. That's super kind of you. You are sweet. 35 gifted subs total. Thank you, girl name. It is now 10 p.m., so I don't know what the frick to do. Box Games then rage quit. I wonder if we can get through just the first part, or if we should just wait and start it next week. So basically the last case of this game is the finale case, which means it's going to be a longer case. I think this case is very long, though. I think this case is very, very long. Ace Attorney cases by length. Let's see if someone's actually done it. By tier length. One of the longest cases ever is Rise from the Ashes at over 9 hours, theoretically. The final case of the second game is over 8 hours. The final case of the third game is over 8 hours. The final case of the fourth game is a little over 5, apparently, according to this one person's playthrough. It is actually shorter. That's interesting. Well, I'm going to say this. I think we're just going to call it after this one. I think. Because otherwise we're going until what, like 1 or 2 in the morning? Oh man, what a tough choice. What a tough choice. I think we pick up next week. My God. Wait, how long do they have this case is listed as? 4-3 at over 4 hours. Why was it so hard for me then? Probably just because the puzzles were ridiculous. I guess. There's no way. There's no way they have this at 4 hours. We've been going for 4 hours. We are fucked whatever you do next. Let's see. Ba, 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 dun, da, 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 ba. You know what? We're gonna save it. We're just gonna call it a short stream. We went long yesterday. We'll go short today. We are back tomorrow, though. That's it. That's the end. We finished that case. We're calling it there. I've made a decision. I was doing the voiceover. So if you're brand new here, every Friday we go through Ace Attorney, and this is our first game back after a while. I love this game. It's one of my favorite series ever. And one of my favorite things to do as a voice actor on stream is be able to marry my two passions. And so being able to do a game like this lets me play a game, stream for you guys, and also do a little voice acting. We're not going for an Oscar here. It's campy, it's anime as fuck, but we have a lot of fun, you know? And as a criminally slept on performer of a pedigree that this industry has not yet recognized. No, it gives me an opportunity to play a bunch of kinds of archetypes I never usually get. You know, like we all have a type we fall into. And so this gives me a chance to step outside my realm of like the tough and/or androgynous woman and play lots of different archetypes from you know, tiny girls to action guys that scream and shout to big old burly men. And I get to do all of that. And so it's really fun. If we ever run out of Ace Attorney games, we'll probably find some other kind of RPG or something that has a lot of text and not a whole lot of voice acting, and we'll keep it going. Yeah, so tomorrow, I don't know what the heck we're going to do. We're going to do something. We're going to do either some more Grounded, maybe, although I'm running out of things I can do without my team. Possibly a little World of Warcraft. We've been playing a little World of Warcraft lately, so we could do a little bit of that. Or maybe we jump back into one of the games I still haven't finished. I don't know. We'll find it. But we'll pick up tomorrow afternoon. If you're here for the first time, please throw me a follow, because I would like to have you back. I'm building an army. I want you to be a part of it. Join me. Join me on this adventure. I stream usually about 5 nights a week. I've played Baldur's Gate. Surely I've not finished Baldur's Gate. We need to get back to that. I feel like everyone's bored of Baldur's Gate. We've been playing Baldur's Gate for like a year, and we are still not done with Act 3 yet. It's bad. I desperately want to get to the end of that because there's so many other games I want to pick up. You guys want me to play Half-Life 2, which I've played before, but yeah, Half-Life 2, we promised we'd play at some point. I want to go through Lies of P at some point. I want to go through Hi-Fi Rush at some point. I have such a long list of games. Yeah, someone recommended Ghost Trick. It seems fun. So we could always look at something like that, Danganronpa or Ghost Trick. I'd have to do a little research and see how the writing holds up, because the last thing I want to do is sound like AI voiceover if the writing is weird, because obviously not all games are created equal in terms of their adaptation. But yeah, if it's a good game, if you guys like it, we could try it. Give it a night and see how it feels. But yeah, we will figure out what we're doing tomorrow. And in the meantime, I'm going to take us all over to... Ren is playing Resident Evil 5. Ellie is just chatting and watching videos? What are you doing, Ellie? Have a great night, Butters. let's go say hi to Ren. We're going to raid Ren. Ren is playing Resident Evil 5 and will take very, very, very good care of you, I'm sure. All right. Again, if you're here for the first time, my name is Melizand. You can call me Mel. I stream 5 or so nights a week, and I would love to have you come back. So consider throwing me a follow. You can join the Discord. You can follow me on Twitter and or Blue Sky with Melizand, Melizande. And when you get over to Ren's, can you do me a favor before you disperse? If you stick around with Ren, I hope they take great care of you. But either way, before you disperse, just drop a bunch of my emotes in the chat to show them some love. I'll give you a starter pack. The heart and the raid are great. But go ahead and pick anything you want. If you want to flex one of the animated ones or a higher tier emote, do that. Just drop a whole bunch of, as long as they're my emotes, spam them out. And I think it'll make their day. All right. Love you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Stay hydrated. Be kind to yourself. Eat some delicious food. And I will see you next time. Get the hell out of here. I'll see you soon.